Hello everyone. Pray for stable internet today, as we're gonna have the grand finals coming up pretty darn soon. Let me see if we have the draft. It's the best of 9, so I might need to update my overlay to accommodate 9 games. See what we have. Actually, don't see a draft yet. Don't see a draft yet. So we'll adjust it when we get there. Okay, I should open up YouTube. Read my YouTube chat. There we go. Oh gosh, hello Kai World. 7 Polar in the chat already. What are they going to draft? That is a good question. I haven't actually seen the best of 9 draft. Oh, they are drafting now. They draft 11 civs. Let's see. If I put this on the overlay, it probably won't work. So yes, let me readjust everything here. Apologies, I need to adjust some size. I make that 1800. Alright, just need to crop that better now. There and there. Then put the admin bands there. There. And then recenter all of that. Oh, it doesn't fit on the screen. Make that ever so slightly smaller. There we go. Should I do 3 rows? Is 3 rows better? Me. Got a bit darker. I think that's probably good. Are 2 rows better? It's 11. So what would 3 be? That'd be 4, 3, 3. So admin band Jurchens, Bengalis, Bulgarians, Berbers, Hindustani, Saracens, Romans, Aztecs, Magyars, and Huns. Oh, no Huns. And first pick double Chinese. Players band Viper, Mongols, Maya, Khmer, Persians, Vikings. Persians, Vikings, some of Hera's favorite civs so far. Hera banning Byzantines, Khitans, Koreans, Portuguese, and Malay. Left, Bohemians on the draft board for Viper. 433. The number of tiles of the civs. You know what? Chat? 3 rows use up too much of the space on the screen. Is this big enough for people to see? Can y'all see this? I think it's slightly off-centered. It's fine. Probably. Hold on, maybe I gotta go a couple pixels to the left. That like messes the side. Is the logo not centered? Maybe the logo isn't centered. I think that needs to go a couple tiles to the side. That's probably better. That's probably been off-center this entire time. The problem is every logo has different dimensions, so whenever I add it, I have to resize it, and I'm too lazy to copy and paste and change HTML, so I just eyeball it. You can see it fine and you're watching on a phone. Okay. Good enough. We'll leave it as 2 rows then. I've been working on the TTL maps this morning, and also doing some construction, adding a door to a cabinet. I should have done this before the stream, but it's easier to get feedback with the chat and know if it looks proper or not. Hoping for at least a 5-3, but bracing yourself for a 5-0. Hera has 5-0'd Viper in KOTD finals in the past. I'm going to put only salmon as fish. I did add salmon as fish to some maps. Indeed. Indeed. We could do a brief preview of TTL maps if y'all want to see them. Also, so far, it looks like internet quality's holding up, so fingers crossed it remains that way. We have not seen much Spanish, no. Interesting with the Phosphoro builds that we haven't seen Spanish, but Conquistadors are much more expensive compared to Rothas and Hussite wagons because they cost food instead of wood. The Arambai, similar. We could see them as a Phosphoro build. So Viper has 2 Phosphoro civs at the end in Spanish and Burmese. Portuguese and Koreans were banned and did not opt for Bohemians. Hera opted for Bohemians. Imagine we get to game number 9 and Hera goes Bohemians and Phosphoros. Most probable result would be 5-3 Hera. I was thinking 5-2 Hera. I'm gonna hope 5-4 Viper. And I'll show you why I'm hoping for that. Are you ready? Are you ready? I might be cheering for one specific player. And any guesses who? Any guesses who? I have the OG Viper logo on my hoodie. I'm ready for this. Ready for this streak to end. For the OG to come back. My hair's all messy. That's fine. I had a haircut the other day. I need to get Ornlu in here to bless my internet connection. Yeah, Ornlu helped it yesterday. That's true. I don't know where he is right now. Maybe he's streaming. Good evening, Swizabulka. Or Swizabulka. The IE always confuses me if it's not German. Biased, a bit biased. Just a bit. Anyway, let's go back to the draft. That Lynx logo? That's the OG Viper logo. And I mean, let's be honest, it's so much better than his current logo. Hera wants to use those amazing Frankish throwing axemen. I mean, Hera took 2 of Viper's civs from yesterday. And the axemen and the Hussite wagons. And I know I said unique units after saying civs, but I guess let's be honest, that's what it really is, right? With the Phosphoro builds. I've also cleared my folders of all old save games, so we should load in as fast as we possibly can. Alright, don't see them on the lobby yet, but we're waiting for them still. Waiting for this to get going. Hello, Helios Nova Spy. How are you today? Hello, Bailo. Hello, Nutwy. This is the first time Viper has made it to a finals in 6 S-tier tournaments. Really? I guess it has been a while. Ornlu on the co-cast? Is Ornlu streaming? Let me see if he's on. He usually has to leave a bit, so maybe he's not around. I don't see him streaming right now. Oh, I messaged him, though. Pretty sure pretty much everyone's going to be casting. The dead man tells no tales. We killed him because the Uyghurs asked us to. Genghis Khan #1. Has he started work somewhere? I don't know. I know he had something to do with his father at the hospital the other day, so I don't know what he's doing IRL. Probably has some very important things to take care of. You just keep Mim's stream open on the side. Alright, so as we're going to get started, I'm just going to play the ads on Twitch to get them out of the way. Make sure we don't have ads during the games. So this will be a good 3 minutes, but it'll be a fun 3 minutes. You can pop over to YouTube if you want to ramble on without ads. You can spare Ornlu in the Eric the Red scenario. That's true. You can also avoid spawning Ornlu in the Eric the Red scenario. Can I imagine if Hera opened game 1 with a Phosphoro? He only has 1 Phosphoro save. That would be crazy. Score, I'm going to say 5-2 Hera. But Viper looked really good yesterday. Maybe moved into outpatient rehab today. That's what King of the Desert blesses us with. Good health IRL. I have another friend who just left the hospital yesterday. Yeah, the son of Ornlu does show up in the Montezuma campaign, indeed. Son of Ornlu. And, Gamer, thank you very much for the raid. Shenanigans are here, thank you very much. Welcome to KOTD. Welcome to our best of 9. Let me update my capture age to say best of 9. Alright, they're in a lobby. Hera will be blue, Viper will be yellow. Hopefully those colors are okay and we won't need to change them. We'll keep with the player colors. Viper looked very prepared and Vince didn't seem to know how to deal with the out there tactics. Didn't seem to know how to deal with the Frank throwing axeman. That's for sure. The first game was Vince trying something out there with the longswords. I don't think there was anything weird from Viper there. 5th game wasn't anything out there either, it was simply Catans making scouts. Did he ban Koreans to stop the Phosphoro strat? I mean, Koreans Portuguese are his bans. Makes sense. Bengalis were admin banned. Maybe unfortunate for Viper. Here in the OG Eric the Red scenario had no chill. Yes, it did. Eating 30 chicken wings. I hope he had them funneled to his TC. For me, this is such an odd choice. Well, it is at the very end of the draft. It does give him another Phosphoro possibility, and a good Man-at-Arms possibility. I suppose Burmese could be a Siege Tower Longsword Civ. Although Hera, we're talking about the Phosphoro possibility for Koreans, I'd imagine the ban is mostly due to Fire Lancers for Koreans. He himself has Chinese and Vietnamese, 2 Fire Lancer civs. Jurchens were admin banned, and Viper has but a single Fire Lancer civ in the Chinese. Fearing Byzantines and Portuguese. Portuguese might be more Phosphoro banned, but Byzantines were always the civ Viper used to ban in his prime, because they were tricky to figure out. Even more on water, never doubt Viper's ability to dock a pond. No matter the event, no matter the settings. He will pick the Asian architectured civs just so he can dock the ponds of the university and the monastery. You get a unique message when the deer attacks you in Eric the Red? Ooh, I don't know anything about a unique message. Probably says you're attacked by Gaia or you're being attacked by wild animals. Ah, yeah, by Gaia. I guess that's true. Gaia doesn't really attack you that often. And okay, they are launching in chat. Time to take your guesses. Take your guesses at the civs for game number 1. Latus versus Manaspa. Cataphract looks cooler. Cataphract by far the best looking unique unit. Alright. Guess the civs. We have 11 possibilities for each player. We have a ton of different civ matchups. Letting Catan's slip also seems like a massive... Yeah, letting Catan's slip did seem like a drafting failure for Vinch. Banning Portuguese prevent the Oryon guns. In 30 seconds. Poles versus Incas? Someone looked it up. No, Catan's banned by Hera. Vietnamese shoes. See, that would be a good draft for game 1. Spanish Bohemians, Malians, Tatars. Bob 1 million in the Twitch chat looked it up, typed in Poles versus Incas. And here we go. Swap my scene properly, get my hotkeys. I'm fumbling my hotkeys and I'm just casting. Here, Viper will be playing as the yellow Inca to the southwest, and Hera as the blue Poles to the northeast. 2 potential tower rushing civs. With the gold plus stone mining bonus that has been bug fixed for the Poles. Is no longer only the male Vils who collect gold. The female Vils grab it too now. And then the discounted towers for Viper and the Inca. Looking at Viper, he has done only a single house, and his eagle is quite far forward. Scouting around his base, has not committed to a second house. Maybe thinking of that early drush like Vinch did. Arrow down to 2k6, hasn't been playing on the ladder. Well, we saw Viper beat a 3k the other day. Maybe he can beat another 3k today. He's moving forward with the eagle, getting ready to fight. Remember, the eagle does win against the Dark Age scout. So if he's forward, he can lame, especially if he takes a hill. And let me make sure I can see both chats. Get the YouTube chat open. And Hera will be grabbing his goats. Oh, game over. Why is the game over? Out of sync detected. Alright, my game just went out of sync. Did this happen to everyone else? What just happened? Let me look other Twitch chats, see if this also happened. Didn't happen to Membit, looks like, or to Vodka. Why did my game go out of sync? Do I not have the right map somehow? Hold on. Yeah, King Oh, you know, let me check and turn the map on. Thanks, DE. Get your thanks DEs in the chat. I rejoined that game. And big indie company Microsoft is. Hello, Eberk. Okay, let's do this again. Do this again. You can very carefully track the eagle forward. As Hera lured the boar very early on, Viper not going to get a lame there. Though he is going for the other boar. Going to grab 2 goats. Alright, grabbing 2 goats, running around still. And nothing. Okay, we didn't miss anything. Back to real time. We're all good. All good. Alright, we're back. Caught up to real time. Let's see, I have everything, all my other extra windows, didn't leave them open. Alright. And Viper will be pushing a Mouflon here from the middle of the map, as he is sending a Vil out to mine gold. Will he mine 10 gold and then do a drush? And where did he get those goats of his? Did Hera pick them up? I don't see. Oh, maybe they ran all the way over here. So I think he grabbed those, must be the 2 goats from Hera's base. Let me just check the scouting. Yep, he ran 2 goats all the way across the edge of the map, and he will bring them back. It's a laming bonus for Viper so far. And he will be doing a forward barracks with that Vil, who has collected a bit of gold so far. Viper missing a couple of his goats, but preferring to push in the Mouflon, knowing that he's already lamed. And he'll see another one down here he can push in, grab 2 of them, then maybe finish scouting. That third he'll certainly see after militia come out of the barracks, 1 tile away. With 1x speed, yes, remind me, so we don't speed up at the very end. Are deer equivalents spread out as single spawns? Yes, they can be groups of 4, or they can be singletons, they can be pairs of 2, and I think you can have a group of 3. So there are different spawns, and sometimes you can get, I think, 3 instead of 4. It looks like Viper pushed 1 from this group over here. You also have a second far group that's, well, far. And Viper up to Feudal, Hera up first on 19 pop, Viper up 19 pop, but he opted for Loom. Hera himself looks like he opted for no Loom. So no Loom as the pulls, Folvark on the berries. And he will have a very safe gold in the back. Can wall up however he wants, here to the TC, here to the TC, and then maybe to there and there at the edge, or just do an even more compact wall in the back. However he wants to be safe, he'll be safe. And should even have a space for a Folvark somewhere in this area behind the TC. That'll be extra safe. Securing the map out here will be rough for the poles if he wants to farm by the Folvark. But doing a second one in the back could be nice for him. And yeah, Hera double the idle time of Viper. Viper's wood line a bit awkward. He has a thick wood, but I don't like the way he walled it. I would have much preferred he walled the houses out here. And then archers wouldn't be able to harass the Vils, and he have a much larger area where he could work with. But he's ready to wall across the front, get to the TC, and then go from the edge of the map to the TC if he wants to be safe. But so far, he will be moving forward with 3 militia, turning them into men-at-arms. Hera will be opening with a stable, and Hera needs to make sure he does get walled. And this might be the very short wall using the gold to make sure the militia don't get in time. And Hera, will he stop this? He can always gate if he needs to. Doing a house. Viper with the militia. That palisade's almost done. He will now hoover around towards the back, force Hera to run around and catch him. Men-at-Arms upgrade is on the way, and Viper will be adding in a range immediately behind this. Opting to do Men-at-Arms before training a spear. I'll have that upgrade finished. Hera opting to small wall the wood line. Has the Vil on the outside, remakes the wall. I was thinking he could have walled back here and kept this army out. Doing a good job keeping the walls up, not going to let the men-at-arms in. Now, this isn't the Vinch build. The Vinch build is 2+2. This is a standard 3 men-at-arms. And Hera adding in more farms around the Folvark. And that actually would be valuable to bring the men-at-arms over towards the Folvark against the poles. You'd be denying the farm spot. And actually, now that I think about it, that would have been probably a much better play for Viper to be over there. He did scout where the Folvark is. He's bringing his spear over. Using another spear to escort an archer across the map. And has to be careful not to let his reinforcements get picked off by the scouts. Hera doing another full of arc right in the back. We'll have to surround that with farms. But could lose some farming space out here. We'll immediately go for the tower. And perhaps earlier men-at-arms over here might have delayed that a bit more. Now he can harass the farm. There we'll have to run the Vil around. No wheelbarrow yet, so the Vil isn't speedy yet. He will do his best to block. Viper might get a couple more hits on the scout, so a bit of idle time here for Hera. And looks like scouts did pick off a spear and an archer. Did take a few pokes in the process, though. And with that tower up, and with how safe this map is, Hera shouldn't be taking any more damage. Only question is whether he walls here and here or goes around. This is a very short wall for him, but I still kind of would prefer going to the edge of the map. It gives you a lot more room to keep your gold safe in the rear. And Hera with scouts atop the hill. We'll start picking off spears and a couple of archers. Another spear comes forward. Scout takes a volley of arrows from the tower. Viper will have 2 back golds to work with later on. The front one, hard to wall with that hill and hard to get a TC by with the hill too. Both players equal on Vils now. Viper keeps adding in more farms. Idling the TC a bit is Viper, so he has a Vil down now. But that usually happens men-at-arms versus scouts. Scouts tend to be easier to keep the TC running. And the pull eco should be great for Hera. As long as he can keep the full Varky safe, it will be that type of civ Hera likes to play, the getting ahead for free type of economy. DC is already starting to pull ahead in res collected. Inca will have a discount, but I don't think the food discount is the same as the Polish farms. And Hera will opt for the shorter wall around the rear, not going for the larger wall to the edge. Won't have taken his Mouflon either. But Viper could always try to lame that while he's here. House goes down. And more men-at-arms attacking the house, trying to break through. Who's the underdog? Definitely Viper. Definitely Viper the underdog. And looks like Hera's scouts have gotten to the back of Viper's base, but he will be quick walling. He will be quick walling. The late and greedy quick wall. And he has a ton of pop space as the Inca. Won't need houses for a long time anymore. And for the most part, he looks safe now. Man-at-Arms is back. He's adding in more archers. Still trying to break in on Hera's base. Disrupting the gold a tiny bit. A couple of archers there, stopping Hera from mining gold. That might make it take longer for Hera to go up. Bloodline's on the way, as Hera keeps adding in more scouts. Double stable scouts! Okay, that's how you play feudal double stable scouts. We saw Viper doing that with the Khitans earlier, and we saw Hera doing double stable scouts against Miguel in his earlier rounds. And Viper will turn and fight with Vils. And Viper sees there's bloodlines now. I'll take a look at his scouting. And he only sees 1 stable so far. But seeing the number of scouts, he might be thinking it's full scouts and recognizing that. No blacksmith yet. This is where Hera, the more eco upgrades, if he can sneak in wheelbarrow, if he can sneak in blacksmith upgrades, that's great. He's going to make scouts until he feels like he wants to click up, and then he'll stop making them and be able to go up really quickly. Viper's eco a bit imbalanced, floating some gold. And now, adding in the market. Defending against double stable scouts if you are not fully walled, which Viper is not. He is not and has a large way in the back where he'll need to wall. Requires camping archers under the TC. Viper will need to garrison that tower and run Vils. That is a lot of scouts and they're about to get forging. And Hera will grab a few Vils here. And Viper needs to get to the TC. He'll need to garrison some Vils and try to camp. And he was not prepared for this many scouts. He was not prepared for this many scouts. A couple of scouts going down to the towers and the archers, though. And Viper so far keeping some Vils alive. Hera not getting too many kills. Every time a Vil walks out, there will be more kills for the scouts. And she does not have garrison space in the TC. Oh, the poor Vils. Hera picking off a few more vills here. This is a big investment into scouts, and he has lost some. So far, so good, though, as far as vill kills, and I think this has been a great play from Hera. The aggressive scouts. You see your opponents left open in late feudal, and I feel that this is still the best army composition you can have. Viper dove and killed a couple more scouts at the back. Even picked up another vill kill, but now 6-3 KD in favor of Hera. And with the Folvark farms established, he will have the better eco going forward. The one annoying tower in the middle of the farms, but he'll live with that. Yeah, now big eco lead for Hera as those Polish farms kick in. And so far, also, much better map for Hera. I think that gold position has been much easier for him to defend, and that's exactly what you want as the Poles, a very defensive map. Viper losing another vill. That's okay, that's now 9 vill kills, and Hera will keep pumping scouts until he decides, I want to click up, and he is just about to do that. He's moving 4 vills out to stone already, which could mean he goes for castle and Schlachter privileges as soon as he's up if he really wants to push. Viper's still trying to save vills, but he is now falling behind, down by 10 vills. And he's farming away from his TC as though he had a Folvark. Second barracks, and he is on his way up. But the only thing he'll really be able to do then is pikemen. I don't think Eagles hold up to Polish spam, especially if they get Schlachter privileges. He might be thinking triple barracks Eagles. And maybe he'll have a timing window before Hera's up, but Hera won't be too far behind. It'll only be around a minute or so, and he should be up once Wheelbarrow is queued, and there he goes. Yeah, about 45 seconds behind. And we'll be up with a much better eco, about 1,500 res collected more ahead. Armored vills versus regenerating vills. Whose vills will have the better cards? That's true. Armored vills would be great for the Inca defending. Were they in the old patch where they still had their feudal armor? Now it'll just be in the castle age. Viper getting a good number of spears put together, but not being walled, he was certainly caught off guard by those scouts, and Hera will resort to stone walls now that he is prepared to see Viper going up and going for eagles. Has been mining stone. Again, we'll get gold as the Poles, and we'll probably be in a position to plop down a castle once he's up. If he fully mines all the stone, he has maybe another spot for a Folvark. Yeah, good draft win too with the civ positioning. And then the way Hera's played Poles has fit right into his playstyle. Defending while getting an eco lead, taking advantage of any small gaps in Viper's defenses to pick vills. Microing the scouts like crazy. Eagle Warrior on the way for Viper. Well, I don't think he'll be able to do much with it, especially if he puts down a monastery and not a siege tower. There is a world where Viper siege towers over the walls and maybe destroys the tower, kills some vills before Hera gets up and does all the upgrades, but he is just about to be up. 7 vills on stone still, so he won't be far from a castle. And can easily do light cav, plus whatever blacksmith upgrades he wants. Husbandry, armor. Only +1 armor, but I guess eagles might have even considered iron casting against eagles and spears. Yeah, Viper will be walling him out so far, but can't completely trap the scouts. And that many light cav will be able to fight eagles. Eagles probably overall the better or a bit stronger of a unit. But, oh, Viper, don't lose the monk like that. No, Viper. And Hera's still with a good 10 villager lead, and he will add in another TC on top of that to take a bigger eco lead, and still has the army lead over the Inca. I don't want to say the Inca are completely dead because of how cheap their eagles are, but they do feel quite dead. Well, what's their discount? 20% food discount for a unit that costs 20 food. So that's 16 food for their eagles, if I'm mathing in my head correctly. And a couple of knights for Hera. Still a good stone count. Monastery, using the space by the TC for the monastery, of course. Not gonna use any of that valuable farming space. Pikemen for Viper. I feel that Schlachter Privilege Knights tend to overwhelm pikemen in number. This is indeed on the new patch with the cheaper eagles, yes. Oh, is this Ornley replying to me? Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, I guess Ornley's probably not around today. Some people were asking for a co-cast earlier. No Town Watch. Coming in for Hera. Pikes and Eagles coming forward. Until Viper to stay calm. Stay calm and Eagle on. Schlachter carries Poland on its back like nothing else. If you get a clean eco into Schlachter privileges, I think it is incredibly hard to stop. Eagle goes down, and monks won a couple conversions. The winged hussar spam that carried them? That depends on the situation. If you have gold, Schlachter carries, and when you run out of gold, then the winged hussars carry them. So, 23 and counting lead for Hera. He's getting a 4th TC and a castle. Man, I don't really see a way back into this for Viper. He's thinking of going for a forward workshop, but it's too late for that to be effective with the castle. And Viper knows he's out of it. He will call the GG. Looks like he's about to overchop his woodline too. And so, pretty simple game for Hera in terms of establishing his food eco, defending, and getting double stable scouts going on a map that Viper couldn't wall. If Viper has his feudal age base set up full stone walls the way Hera did against the Eagles, then the scouts don't get in and can't do damage. And Hera has to do something such as a forward tower to try to YOLO break in, because then he's wasted a bunch of food on scouts. But when he's able to get in, do damage, kill some villagers, put Viper behind, even if he's losing scouts, you invest so much into the farming eco for double stable scouts that you don't really feel the pain of the food loss. And you still have the ability to click up to castle whenever you want. So we'll look at some stats. We'll have 53 to 33 KD. And you can tell in late feudal, when Viper was split up some units forward, some units back, and was fighting the stronger units in the Bloodline Scouts. Then the fight comes in, Viper loses Vills, he gets up to castle slightly faster with more military, but full stone wall from Hera, while Hera's eco the entire time is pulling ahead. And that's the type of graph you often see from Hera. Some type of very small advantage that snowballs. How did he have so much pop space that early? Because he is the Inca, and every time he quick walls with a house, he gets 10 pop space. Why did he resign? Because the game is over. Hera was way too far ahead to come back from there. Was full stone walled with a castle too, so there was no way Viper does damage. And right into the next game. Ooh, Ethiopians Spanish. Alright, so we'll have game number 2. Viper will be the yellow Spanish to the southwest. Hera will be the blue Ethiopians to the northeast. And once again, the map gods have blessed Hera with a safe back gold right next to her woodline. So Hera just walls around like that. Maybe puts one house out here so archers don't stand there. And oh, he is an amazing map. Varies a bit forward, but gold's super safe. What do the American civs do post-Imp, Elite Eagle, and Prey? Well, the Inca can be played somewhat like Franks in the sense you have cheaper castles and can try to castle creep around the map to control resources. At some point you end up spamming Halb Skirm. And it's harder to raid without hussars, that's for sure. And if it becomes a wood game, the lack of hussar hurts you, because you don't have the efficiency of farming to turn into hussars. But Viper at least has a good gold himself this game. His berries are very exposed. You'll have to deal with the boar out on the side. I want Viper to go for supremacy. And a question for the Spanish was, will he phosphoro? And he doesn't have the worst stone for phosphoring either. He could maybe infeudal tower somewhere over here. He can go from the edge of the map to the TC and keep the gold safe. So I think he has a fairly decent map should he want to phosphoro. And we now will see a spawn that has pairs of ibexes that can be pushed in. I actually like that. I like how ibexes spawn in pairs. I wouldn't mind if perhaps every Arabia players had 3 pairs of ibex or 3 pairs of deer. I think that might be cute. As a polls user, I'm happy that Hera punished Viper for using an American civ. Inca late game spam is amazing. You can spam towers, castles, but way worse when a civ has bombard cannon. Yeah, the Inca late game with discounted halbs and skirms is pretty nice. But again, you're in a situation where if you need hussars, you don't have them. And it can be hard to raid if you're relying on halbs to raid. Seem like they're on a timer. Oh, remember, the Maya have a longer timer because their gold lasts longer. And Aztecs are usually on a timer anyway. Aztecs do have good late game options for team games sometimes by going Siege Onager, but they're very gold hungry for being continually required to pump Eagles and potentially Arbs, which don't have Thumb Ring. Champions can be nice, but again, very situational. Jaguar Warriors can be nice, but also even more situational. Monk Siege Onager is their late game of composition of choice, usually. Helps are more important than Hussar. I think that really depends on the situation. I'm tempted to say Halbs are more important team games than they are 1v1s, because at that point you are more likely to get to siege protected by Halbs. And you certainly will be fighting gold cav units that Halbs can deal with. But again, very situational in Civ matchup and map dependent. Hera goes for siege. Viper should go for missionaries. Yes. Viper's heading out to Stone, though, and this, by the looks of it, is going to be Viper FCing Conks. So this will be 21 population, 23 plus Loom, 23 pop FC Conks. He walled his wood line in. Hera not going for the barracks before the mill, so he won't go for any type of aggressive pre-milled rush. Ethiopians getting their free 100 food and gold every age up can do some pretty interesting men-at-arms builds. And they will certainly have a good archery range if they want to go crossbow skirm for defending against Conks. What they do not have is redemption, so if Viper can go Conk plus Mangonel, then Hera could struggle. Won't be able to convert the Mangonels, and his own Mangonels would be destroyed by Conks if he tries to add them in. And that's always a very tricky composition if you don't have a good Monk Civ, and even if you do have a good Monk Civ these days with Devotion. So even if Viper just goes Conks, he still might want to go Devotion, in the case he sees Hera going for a Monk defense. FC versus FC. Hera might just be reading this as, I bet Viper's going to Phosphoro, so I'll FC myself to counter it. Neither player drushing before their FC. Oh gosh, what does Age of Empires come to when players realize they just FC? No more drush FC, just naked FC. Remember when players would go FC Knights as the pocket? And then people realized we needed to go Scouts to be more aggressive? And now 1v1s have become the opposite, where players go FC, no opening in a 1v1. Yeah, why waste res? Hera is still part of GL? He is still part of GL, yes. There have been rumors that he's leaving, but so far nothing's come to fruition. Enjoyed FC Knights from the pocket. I'll remember when you would go single stable knights from the pocket while booming with two extra TCs. That's still something I do occasionally if I'm playing a very mixed elo game and my flanks are lower and I have to carry. Getting to the eco for either late castle knights or early imp cavalier into paladin faster can help, even if I'm letting my flanks die. Hello, plasma egg product. Lovely Ornlu emote. And Market Blacksmith for Viper, he is going straight up. And Hera must be thinking, I can counter conks as the Ethiopians. If you want a good archer civ for countering them and you're not Britons or Maya, then I guess Ethiopians are the one you want, maybe Vietnamese. Faster firing archers, fully upgraded skirms. And Viper... If Viper scouts what Hera's doing, and he sees that Hera isn't adding any archers, is there a world where Viper sends his vills forward for the castle? Imagine he gets a castle right around here in front of that range, covering both stones, and traps Hera in his base. At that point, his base is so safe at home, he could wall to the TC and never have to worry about a counterattack. I don't know if this is enough archers to deny a castle. Maybe Hera could YOLO vills forward for a tower were that to happen. I would love to see that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love to see it. You managed to convince 3 friends to play team games? Nice. Halb Skirm will lose to Hussar Skirm. If Hussars raid properly, yes. Oh, that's true. It is a Spanish castle. It will go up faster. Hera with 2 vills forward. Viper with the stone for a castle right now. And the safe castle location would be over here, protecting the wood and the gold. The fun castle location would be here. And think about this. If Hera sends his archers forward, then he's splitting them up. And he won't have as many home. But he'll be up and immediately adding in Bodkin. Can't afford crossbow. And Viper will do the castle at home. Did not commit to walling in the back, which might be annoying if the archers run around, but they probably won't be able to do much damage with conks on the prowl anyway. Viper will do this every game. I think he'll do this every game because it's actually good. And Ethiopian's not one of Hera's top civs, so maybe a civ Viper thinks this is a good chance to win against. Hera will go for the university, and he will be opting for ballistics so he can micro crossbows. And Hera will certainly get more crossbows, and this is where Viper needs to figure out how he will get mangonels, and I think also how he's going to wall this part of his map. I don't think he can afford to leave this unwalled. But if he could ever get a forward workshop now, use the conquistadors, get 4 or 5 of them with some armor. Remember, the Spanish don't have to spend gold on their blacksmith upgrades and actually get gold every technology they research. So researching the second archer armor actually gives them gold. Just takes a bit of food. But doing that, fighting the feudal archers feels pretty good. Hera might even go ballistics before crossbow. Look at this build. He will go ballistics before crossbow. If this is good, does it need fixing? I don't know. I mean, the game always had Drush FC Conk and Drush FC Plume. And this feels simply like an evolution of it, where people realized if you don't Drush, you can still go up without being punished. And that's at the same time, there have been more ways to punish this type of build because walls are weaker. And you can get punished for staying in the feudal age, but houses are weaker too. So getting punished by a feudal push can happen. The problem is they're so fast now, the builds are so fast that all the differences in the early game that were made to punish this build don't really come into effect because your opponent doesn't have military in time to stop it. Also, towers being weaker too, meaning you can't aggressively trush someone as well. So yes, ballistics before crossbow. What a build. Against conks, you need every edge you can get. And Hera will have some vills idle. The Viper coming forward with a workshop. And then the question is, what do you do against Hera? Do you do a mangonel, or do you do scorpions? Scorpions, you're not going to be able to afford ballistics on this build. Viper loses a conk. And that's what you don't want to do. Lose to Hera's crossbow micro. Hera will slowly but surely be trying to get more crossbows. And the downside for Viper, if he splits his conks up like this, is he will keep taking losing fights against crossbows. He has to out micro ballistics constantly now. And crossbow plus ballistics feels like a good counter to this. Hera also 5 extra vills, managing the eco behind this a bit more cleanly than Viper is. This is where conks costing food makes them more expensive than Ratha. And also, if you're against Ratha, there's no way to use a crossbow defense. Ratha are too OP against crossbows. Now it comes down to unit composition, and will Viper be able to use the mangonel properly? Ballistics for the TCs, that helps too. And the Vil cannot repair conks. But 6 conks for Viper, he can group them up and push with the mangonel. Second mangonel on the way. Conks not taking the scout. And, oh, Hera deleted a wall to get a second TC. Viper does not see the TC, but he will run in through the deleted wall and be able to pick off those crossbows on the side. Does he have enough conks for that? Hera will take a hit from the mangonel. Hera's gonna get that TC up. And that's having a 3-2 KD. Viper losing 1 or 2 conquistadors, losing a bit of HP, means he can't engage that group of 5 weak crossbows, and that TC goes up. That TC goes up, so a couple of very small micro things for Hera, helping him survive. Part of me says Viper could go for a ram here and ram that archery range. And if he takes out the range, it will be awkward for Hera on such a tight eco to make another range to get crossbow production again. He's missing a monk to heal his conks, or a missionary, or something for healing. He has vills for the mangonels, for sure. Hera will go for his own workshop. And Viper deny that. And this is the hard thing about fighting crossbows. They have ballistics. They will hit your conks much more easily than you will hit the crossbows. And Hera has to go for another TC in the back. So Hera's now, he's struggling for wood. There's no wood for Hera out here, and he is on a timer where he needs to protect this TC. Actually, I'm thinking Viper doesn't need to push Hera all that much, because Hera soon will run out of wood on this wood line. And if Viper can control this TC, and this TC will be much easier to fight, because he can put the conks over here, the mangonels to the left of the conks, and Hera won't be able to bring his own mangonels over to deal with the conks. Viper's still going for the range. Hera's going to have 17 crossbows soon. And this will be Hera micro against mangonels. Oh, the crossbows, though, they split as they pop out of the archery range. He will kill a couple of conks, though, too. Viper's still hurting from not having a mangonel. Or from not having a monk. Not having any healing. Range weakening, and now Viper will run down and gun down the crossbows. But lose conks in the process, that's painful. He only has 8 conquistadors. Oh, the good news is if he loses low HP conks, he'll be left with high HP conks. He's taking out the range. Taking out a lot of farms. I guess you still think maybe pressure this TC more than this one because it has the farms around it? Oh, and he almost gets the mangonel. Dives for it and gets the mangonel. Loses 1 conk for a mangonel, but I think he'll be happy for that trade. They're up by 10 vills. And conks continuing to pressure. Starting to hit the vills on the wood line. And Viper will get the mangonel. He trades, but he gets it. And now, what will Hera's micro be on the crossbows? Viper attacking ground. Needs to bring over his vil and repair for the moment. And Hera with another range will keep adding crossbows. And what does Viper's eco look like at home? Has a few farms, will add a stable, that'll let him get bloodlines and husbandry. I guess it's a fair question whether bloodlines is more important than monks. And I'm still super worried how Viper never walled from that house to the edge of the map, because if crossbows come forward, they get right in on this part of his eco. And Hera will try to add a third TC. Hera trying to add a third TC. Viper's still pushing here. And this is Hera somehow escaping by the time he runs out of wood. Getting 2 more wood lines. Yo would have prioritized the second forward castle. That would be true too. Is it a question though if you need to do the forward castle as ASAP as possible? Or can you wait and see where Hera adds TCs? Because now Hera's committed to a TC and 5 farms here. That's a ton of wood for Viper to come forward and do a castle right on this hill. Or right over here. And bloodlines for Viper. And it is a Spanish castle. Finally he gets a good mangonel shot. There we go. There we go. And he has the score lead. He keeps the pressure up. He will be getting a second castle soon. And bloodlines for the conks will make them much stronger in these fights. He'll miss the mangonel, but pick it off with the conks. Ooh. Takes a couple shots to pick it off with the conks, but gets it in the end. Part of me says Viper destroys this house, and then has a perfect spot for a castle right here between 2 TCs. And I think a second castle here basically wins him the game, because at that point Hera loses all the vills here, and Viper can focus this TC and take Hera off of wood completely. More mangonels, finally gets a monk. And Hera's had all of his upgrades right from the start, so Viper's army keeps getting stronger over time. Hera's army is as peaked as it will be versus the conks right now. Maybe he can do 1 more armor or thumb ring, but that's not too important. And there Viper has 2, 3, 4. He's sending the village. He's sending the village to raise a forward castle, buying the stone. And I don't think there's a way Hera stops that. He's trying to get a mangonel out. And this is now the moment where he needs to fight. That castle goes up, and he can't do much. Viper's, look at this. He's focusing on the TC at the same time with those mangonels. He has so many mangonels forward, even if Hera gets a mangonel, I don't think there's a way he out-micros this. And, ooh, still a nice shot there. Weakens a bunch of crossbows. Hera gets a mangonel out, and Viper will trade off against it. Viper will lose a couple of vills here. Finally, the crossbows go down. Hera will lose this TC, and there's the GG from Hera, as Viper will get the castle up. And at that point, as I said, Hera's out of wood back here, more or less. He's not going to have wood over here. And Viper can pressure this TC at that point to stop Hera from taking the rest of the wood. And at that point, Hera is hoping to YOLO a clandestine lumber camp somewhere against conquistadors and their mobility. And Viper even has 1 out here checking for that. So nicely done from Viper. He'll get the castle up. 20 vil lead for Hera. Did a nice job defending for a while. But there's only so much you can do against conquistadors and mangonels as a combination when you're going crossbow mangonel. And not quite enough for Hera, as much as he did a lot of things well. He had a good map to defend, but couldn't quite make it work. 39 to 18 KD in favor of Viper. And pulled ahead at the end there. Yo would have won the game faster. I heard the people saying 5-0 Hera. Oh, where is T West updating his scoreboard in between games? When was that first game? That's Poles, Ethiopians against Inca and Spanish. Alright, so both players using their second to last civ and winning with it. And they're in the lobby for the next game. Let's go, Sneck. This tactic is so dead now, I predict the nerf will be heavy. Shouldn't have done ballistics before Expo. And he should have mixed in skirms. That's interesting, mixing in skirms, right? Because the skirms will survive a bit more against the conks, and they'll be a bit stronger against them, but they'll also be more vulnerable to the mangonels. And if you want to dance crossbow against mangonel, you still have a chance of picking off mangonels better than you do if you're going with skirms. I think you need to stay 2 TC. Adding the 3rd TC certainly made that a very tempting castle drop location. I'm not sure what else he invests resources into, though. I don't think there's a way he gets his own castle up, and even if he does, the conks are mobile enough they can ignore the castle. So they're launching again. It'll be Lithuanians for Hera and Shu for Viper. A matchup where this was that ACCM MBL Game 7, and I felt like I liked Lithuanians between these two civs. The Leichai being able to ignore the higher armor of the Huiguang Cav and offset the high armor, low HP nature of the unit is rather nice, and the faster moving skirms to deal with Shu archers will be great. Hera promised Memba Spanish game. Well, he did get it. He received it. But like Barbarossa, even in death, he fulfills his promise. Can the Shu Phosphoro? The Shu can FC War Chariot, which is, I guess, an alternate Phosphoro. Yeah, we saw a Vinch. What was that? That was Vinch Viper in the Frank game yesterday. Tried to pull that off, and it did feel pretty nasty. So Viper with Lithuanians versus Shu might face a similar, or with Shu versus Lithuanians, might be in a similar situation himself. So we will have Viper as the yellow Shu to the west. He will have a couple of duplicate blue rugs there, a couple of duplicate red rugs. And he will have, looks like a 3 woodline Arabia where all 3 of his woodlines are forward. Both of his stones are forward, but at least he has a back second gold and a fairly back main gold. No woodline behind it to wall to, but he can go around the edge. And on the other side, to the north-northeast, we will have Hera as the blue Lithuanians. He'll have a couple of duplicate rugs too. Ah, he had 5 different rugs there. So close to getting 6 different rugs. Missing that green-red combo rug. Anyway, Hera will 3 times in a row have an insane map. Oh my gosh, what are these map hacks? Well, he'll have a stone and 2 golds in the back, 2 juicy and large woodlines he can use for walling, and a very simple wall to the edge of the map, wall to the edge of the map, be completely safe wall to the TC build with only the berries slightly far forward. Well, that's true. Last game, Viper turned it into a bad map. But Hera still having that safe gold in the back was crazy for him. FC War Chariots might be the play for Viper. Might be what he does. He did somewhat Phosphoro with FC Conks in the previous game. And remember how they tried to nerf the FC Phosphoro builds by increasing the price of food at the market? I think that actually just made them stronger in most situations, because the other player who's in feudal cannot buy themselves up, and the FC player usually doesn't need to use the market at all for their build. So that feels like a nerf that worked in the opposite direction. Makes the defense harder. And we've seen that the War Chariots themselves are very easily countered by mangonels, and the Lithuanians do have redemption if they want to go for a monk defense. They can go straight knights if they want to go for a knight defense. Viper with 4 over on wood. No barracks yet. He could always drush into FC War Chariots too. The other day, Vince used the War Chariots to get an eco timing. Forced Viper to invest more into his defense than into early eco, whereas Vince could add TCs. Lithuanians compared to Franks? Maybe the Franks even a better eco compared to the Lithuanians. Not the plus 100 food, but the Franks did get the berry bonus and the farm bonus. What even is meta at this point? Skirmishers. But that's the great thing about King of the Desert. We've seen so many different strategies and builds played on Arabia. Everything from scouts to men-at-arms to drushes to FCs have been viable. And I think it's been much more interesting than many other tournaments in that regard to see it. I think it was far more interesting than hybrid maps where you have to do fire galleys and skirms. Ever since last year in that map pack we made for TTL, I had to stop watching at some point. I was like, why did we add these fish to Acropolis? Why did we make another fire galley map? And I'm worried about the balance change for hulks, because now instead of fire galleys and demos, we will have only hulks. Or it'll become Hulk and demo, and still boring. I miss Galley Micro, but I also miss the days when we didn't have as many hybrid maps. That's exactly, guys and Young. I'm worried that the naval rework actually makes it more boring, because that was the impression I got from Thalassocracy. That maybe the naval rework is okay for islands or very far apart large water maps, but for the small pond maps, it's just hulks and hulks and hulks and nothing else. So no FC from Viper. It looks like he's up on 20 pop with Loom. Very standard for him. 21 pop for Hera. Looks like he didn't pick up Loom, so same time for both of them. Slight eco lead for Hera. And Viper doesn't look like he'll punish the lack of Loom. Did lose some HP. How did he lose HP on a Scout? Looks like the Scouts fought each other. 3 HP lead for Viper Scout. Mid-Castle early Imp was maybe more interesting. Maybe? But late Imp, I feel, was a bit more boring. If you can say more boring than full Galleon. It felt like there was very little room to come back. What I like about Arabia, it's not simple rock, paper, scissors. And Water used to have a bit more variation, where every ship was very different. And in AOC, you had Galley Micro, but then when you hit the Castle Age, you suddenly had fires and demos. And adding in... Oh, as Hera loses a scout to the TC, adding in the extra ships too early means you're playing rock, paper, scissors instead of something more interesting. So, losing the scout to the TC, bad for Hera. He won't scout that Viper is opening scouts himself. And Shu going for a scouts build can be pretty smooth with all the food they get from chopping wood. No bloodlines though, so you can't go too heavily into scouts. I doubt we'll see the double stable scouts like Viper did. Or, yeah, like Viper, or like Hera did in Game 1. That's what I meant, like Hera did in Game 1 with the pulls. And Market Blacksmith for Hera, who will fast castle with the Lithuanians. So potentially looking to fast castle against War Chariots. And Viper will send a Vil forward to see if he can harass Hera and potentially punish him for a fast castle. Okay, okay. Market Blacksmith, naked fast castle, losing your scout. This is when Viper makes one tower behind the wood line, because Hera also, naked fast castle means no town patrol. He did do Lumen Feudal at least. Now Hera will follow the meta and win. So where is the Vil going for Viper? Remember, the map no longer has any predators on it. No lions, no wolves. Those were removed. And Viper has a clean shot at a tower behind the wood line. And what does Viper do then? Towers with one Vil and tries to get 4 scouts over to this wood line. I think maybe you split your scouts up 2 here, 2 here, and once you see Vils running for a wood line, you converge them. There are no... Oh, okay, 3 scouts going for a Vil. That will be smooth and well microed from Viper. Stand ground micro so they all attack the same Vil, and then they get out. Oh, that's Viper's Spear. That's Viper's Spear. Remember, Hera does not have a barrack, so he cannot add spears, and that'll be right away 2 Vils down for Hera. And a forward range for Viper, so not going for the tower, going for the range. Tower behind this wood line still, I think, would be nasty. And barracks for Hera, as he will need to invest into spears now. Living rent-free in Hera's mind. That's what I'm thinking, is Hera thinking he was going to FC Knights to counter the War Chariots? And Viper simply didn't FC? Is that the problem here? Hera needs to be careful he doesn't overchop that tree either. Viper with a 4th scout somewhere. Where is that scout? Having 4 scouts instead of 3 is really important. He brings it forward. And yeah, this is the mistake. Hera is going for a TC somewhere. Viper knows that, and Viper's not paying attention. Hera will sneak that TC out there, and I think Viper needed his scouts by this woodline the whole time. Yeah, there's that tower, maybe a bit late. Archer coming around, and Hera has the quick wall. He will be successful. And now Viper can take Vils off of the gold, but can't pressure it too much, as this TC will be nearby for the Vils to run and almost cover the gold. And Spear coming over to try to deal with the Archer. Viper has to avoid running into the TCs. And I think a bit of a mistake for Viper having the scouts attacking the gold and letting Hera get to that wood line. Much easier from our point of view to see that. But now with the tower up, he will bring the scouts over and he will threaten Vils on this wood line. Oh no, oh no. Hera losing Vils. And this will be another Vil down. 4 more Vils on that wood line. The archers will come over. Town watch in for Viper. The scouts get in. Hera tries to run. The scouts will nilly around a bit, trying to pathfind. That'll be a dead Vil. Oh, well, the Vils danced a bit. But that is now 7 villager kills for Viper. Hera, however, does have 2 TCs. And Viper is investing a lot into feudal in this attack. He does at least have his eco upgrades. Double bit axe and horse collar. He'll be doing a market and getting ready to go up himself soon. But 32 to 23, Vil count is something Hera can recover from, since he does have an age advantage accounting for about 5 of those Vils. Maybe even slightly more. It takes a long time to go up to the castle age. And looking at his resources, he's down by 1,000 resources, and right now does not have access to gold, so he can't produce knights. And it's going to be, what, full spear defense against this? And do the Shu have knights? Do the Shu have knights? They do not. They have, as I said, Huiguang Cav. So what does Viper do now when he goes up? Part of me says Viper could YOLO Vils onto stone now and drop a castle right here. And there wouldn't be a way for Hera to stop that. You could also go forward for a workshop, forward for monasteries, but Shu don't have really good monks. Yeah, no redemption. No block printing an imp, no sanctity. And that's a good spear getting a poke. Viper not investing too much into army. But you see that Vil count already closing for Hera. This is almost like a Kuman boom now with 2 TCs versus 1, the one player being up later even though they did damage. Hera doesn't have an archery range, he can't make skirms. That is also very true. And Viper still has a forward Vil who could very well do a workshop and then go war chariots. The thing is, Viper also doesn't have a strong eco himself. Better than Hera's? But is it enough to pump military? If there's a way Viper, say, pumps +2 knights from, or +2 Huiguang Cav from 2 stables into the eco, he can kill this. He can kill Hera easily. Right now, he has his archers spread out, idling farms. Hera has to be careful with that Vil, not to lose her. Remember, if an archer attacks a farm, the Vil cannot work on the farm. A bit of a mistake attacking that house there. And this will idle some of the farms. Hera's still not on gold. He's trying to do armor. And he might be going double TC farms just to pump out scouts. If he can get 1 knight, he's thinking maybe he can get to that TC. Workshop for Viper, he will be going for crossbow and bodkin. And this is where Viper has to decide what to do with his crossbows. He doesn't want to leave crossbows spread out against knights. He's going to want them grouped up more. And it'll be a monastery for him seeing the stable. You see the stable? Yep, he sees everything. Sees everything. And this is what he doesn't want, losing singleton crossbows like that. The knight here could probably pick off 2-3 crossbows. hasn't even taken damage yet. 1 bolt so far. And the Knight will be good against War Chariots. I don't think you want to 1v1 a War Chariot if there's crossbow support. But so far, Hera with a 3-vil lead and an extra TC. And doing a defensive workshop. If he gets Mangonels out, he destroys the War Chariots. And Viper can't do Redemption Monks, as we said. Part of me thinks YOLOing the castle forward would have been the play for Viper. What's the Shu unique unit? It's the White Feather Guard. Yeah, he could have gone White Feather Guards. Hera trying to find another gold. Okay, this is where Viper notices Hera does that. Hera dies. Oh, he can see the dead mining camp. You can see it about the mining camp placement. And there go the Vils. Oh my gosh, Hera, Hera, where are you going? Well, these Vils are going to die. Oh, there goes that Vil lead he had. Oh no, Hera, not like this. Not like this. The Knight's over, but that's a bit too late. The Monk will grab relics for Viper. The Vils destroy a War Chariot. I didn't know that was a thing. And they have attack bonus versus Hussite Wagons. Does that count for War Chariots? I don't know, but Viper will try to convert the Knight and kill the Vils. And then we'll go down. We'll try to convert a Vil. I think he probably needs to save the Monk juice for a Knight. But okay, there goes the Vil lead Hera had from 2 TCs. Viper up by 2k resources collected. 13 military to 1. He will come back and hit the gold. There are lots of weak Vils on that gold. That will be some more kills. Viper needs to make sure Singleton Knights don't pick off his crossbows. He's harassing, but not killing. I think he could micro that a bit better there, but there's Hera finally losing a Vil. He needs to worry about the Knight. Only +1 armor on the Knight, so 4 crossbows if they're microed should be able to deal with that. No bloodlines. And he'll trade 1 crossbow for a Knight, surely. There, he's fine with that trade, and back to the gold again. Another Knight comes out. Hera might need to use trickling Knights. Viper needs to avoid trickling Mangonels against Knights. Nope, we get another couple of Vil kills. Hera still up by 2 Vils, but 18-0 Eco KD. Hera getting 1 Knight into Viper's Eco. He'll clean that up with a Huiguang Cav. I'm a bit worried about the Knight numbers that are accruing here, but Monks will help out with that. Make sure I don't have the wrong player names. I'll make sure this isn't Doubt. Filling in for Hera. And okay, now the Mangonel can hit the weak Vils. Remember, attack rounds are better against Vils now because the secondary projectiles do damage. It actually does matter quite a bit. And Monk's coming over for conversions. And Hera not devoted, the Monk gets a conversion. Okay, is Viper gonna take a lead here? Yes, he will. 2-1 lead for Viper. Viper living rent-free in Hera's mind, as chat said. Hera prepared for FC War Chariots. Viper played Standard. And that is the scariest part of the Phosphoro build. It takes such a specialized build to counter it. If your opponent plays Standard, then you die. And Viper with a lead over Hera? What year is this? Is this 2025? It's a win with the Shu and a loss with the Lithuanians. Same position in the draft from both of them. As far as draft positions, both players pretty even so far. Oh man, they're right into the next game right away. They're taking no breaks. I should give Viper some confidence? Let's hope, let's hope. Viper looked incredibly good in that series against Winchester. And he's bringing that same energy today. If anyone can do it, it's Viper. Imagine what things would be like if Doubt did it. There goes Burmese now. Imagine Viper goes Malians FC Siege Tower Gebettos. I imagine Hera is very unhappy with that game. I think so too. But it's also the consequence of so many of these FC builds. You have to go FC to stop them yourself, and leaves you vulnerable to players not doing them. Game number 4 now. Game number 4, it is a best of 9. So 2-1 lead is still very early in the set. We've played 3 games out of a potential 9. Viper will be the Yellow Slavs to the northwest, against Hera as the Blue Armenians to the southeast. He'll have some duplicate rugs himself. Hera finally has a map without a safe gold. His main gold is forward. His berries are forward, at least they have a wood near them. And a second gold towards the back, but very open. Another big wood line to the side. Viper will have forward wood lines, but at least he has back golds, back main gold, back second gold. His stone's a bit forward, his berry's a bit forward. But a decent map as long as he can get away with not walling and keep the pressure forward. Hera may be a bit easier to wall, but hard to wall in a gold. Your odds calculator gives Hera a 67% chance. Well, for someone who's won how many sets in a row? No, those are pretty good chances for him to lose. Chinese save for the Game 7 mirror match? Well, remember, it's a best of 9. It's a best of 9. ACCM saving Chinese could actually be a play here. And Hera pushing the deer. So far, no laming. Actually, where's Viper's Scout? Viper's Scout. Oh, Viper's Scout is forward. Viper's Scout is scouting. Sees Hera's forward res. And now we'll bring it back. Another lumber camp going up here for Viper. And that boar taken under the TC. Clean lore for Hera. And 2 on the mule cart. Now the question for Hera, will he try to do some type of FC church rush? From 0-0 it says Hera is 85% in a best of 9. Why not take straggler trees before the wood camp? Oh, you mean with the mule cart? You could do that. So I've seen that sometimes. You mule cart right adjacent to the straggler tree and take it, because then you don't need to walk as far to get to the lumber camp. I think you need to walk out there anyway eventually. And this isn't a water map where you're trying to do a super tight build for an early dock. Maybe if you wanted to do a pre-milled rush, that would have been a build to get the barracks out sooner. But if he's not doing that and just goes for the wood line, I don't think there's much of a difference. The tier of the tournament's only money. I don't even know what determines it. It's just like some wiki that determines it, right? It's a kind of a weird system. I think the previous game playing out the way it did will dissuade Hera from any more FCs. Or maybe it'll just encourage him to FC but be aggressive instead of defensive. Anyway, you are right. You're right. He might have second thoughts about FC churches after that game. True S tier is USA. No, USA Cup is true F tier. That is true bottomest of all tiers. But that's why we do it. So, tutelage for Hera. Viper, 19 Vils, and Loom. So 20 pop plus Loom for Viper. Not going up super duper fast, but then again, the Slavs don't have a Dark Age eco bonus. They'll save a bit of wood by building a barracks and getting some pop space. But one of those civs that can somewhat get ahead for free. Not as good of an eco as some of the other civs, but their farming bonus is quite nice. Viper has to be careful having only 1 Vil out here, but he does have Loom, so he shouldn't be harassed by the scout. He'll send another Vil out to the berries, as he's looking to push in his... What was that, a Gazelle? His Gazelle. Secondary group pretty far from him. Hera will give chase to his scout as Viper moves over to wood. And Hera adding in his barracks on his way up, so it looks like a scout's opening from him. Armenians do have bloodlines unless he wants to start with a range. Maybe open Skirm Spear. Viper doing his barracks now a bit more slowly. But we'll have more of a Dark Age eco added. Can probably add in a Horse Collar right away, which will be valuable for the Slavs if they farm, or because they farm faster. Then get up a stable to go along with that barracks, and we might see a Scout's Mirror. How one of the lower teams advanced farther than USAA in Nations Cup. Yes, I did change it, Kastenbrot. I did have to remove the Timmy Trumpet song from the alert. I haven't replaced it with anything yet. I need to do a big update of a lot of my OBS stuff. I haven't replaced it yet. But yeah, Viper should have stolen the boar from Mem's logo. Now that would be something else. Surely in a tournament like this, you can't change your tactics as you go. Well, in an event like this, where you each draft 11 civs and you're playing a best of 9, it's hard to have preformed tactics. Or preformed ideas even of what you're doing heading into the maps, because you won't know the civ matchups. By the later stages, as more civs are taken off the draft boards, you'll start to get more civs that you think you can try to snipe with a civ matchup. But in the early rounds, it's pretty random what players go for and what they end up using. I mean, for each civ, you probably have several builds planned at this level. I don't think you will be unfamiliar with any of them. And now Skirm defense from Viper. I was hoping to see scouts from both of them, but it will be a range from Hera and Skirms from Viper. And Viper looks like he's winning this initial engagement. Well, he loses the scout, but cleans most of the archers. Hera's scout will have 5 HP left. And oh, he'll dive the skirms? And try to save the archer. And lose the scout in the process. 2 HP left. 1 HP. He loses the scout. Hera, what is this? Losing the scout. 26 to 26, 27 to 27 eco. Armenians will have the extra effective mule cart technologies. But that'll be compared to Slav farms, simply working faster. And I think that'll matter more. And Hera running archers into skirms again. Getting hit by Viper's micro. What is this from Hera? Losing more archers, he's walled himself. Still needs a bit of walling on the side. And somehow would need to wall over here. But fletching on the way now for Viper. Hera even committed to an early fletching for those fights. I worry this will be a repeat of Game 1. This feels like Viper has gotten off to a much better start than Game 1. Game 1, I think, was the perfect situation for Hera to have that civ matchup with that incredibly wallable map where he could add in the farms, and the late feudal difficult-to-wall map where he could commit to double stable scouts with the farms. In the matchup against the Inca, where he'd then have that transition to Schlachter privileges against Eagles, I think Game 1 was just about the perfect situation for Hera. Viper's made it happen the past 2 games. Game 2, he had a pretty nice defense, but also a rough civ matchup, Ethiopian-Spanish. Game 3 was just disaster. Am I going to Red Bull? I will physically be there. I have tickets for it, but I'm not casting or involved with it in any way. I'm probably going to take a mini vacation around the time. Oh, also, January 12th, I'm going to be on the front page of Twitch. They had there's a form you fill out to apply for front page. I applied for a random Monday in January because I figured that would be the least contested time with other people for it. But that is in the middle of the Red Bull ladder, so hopefully we'll have a lot of pros playing, and we'll do a good 8 hours of Red Bull ladder casting that day. Where is it? It is in London, yes. It is in London. It's in several different spots, though. They have different venues for different days. The finals will be Royal Albert Hall on Monday on Easter. Oh, you need a visa for the UK? That's the good thing about being an American. I don't, but I know the UK does cause issues for lots of people with visas traveling there. I remember Nadia told me once that she was stopped at the airport and questioned for a while when she went to one of the escape events. Being from Belarus does not give her a good passport. The funny thing was, as Viper with Skirms cleaning up this fight and also being forward, harassing Hera's gold, I flew with T90 to the UK once. And there was one time we just happened to book the same flight, and we got off the plane and we're like, oh, hello there. As we were going to a meetup together. And as we went through security, he went through first, and he struggled to explain his job as a YouTuber. It was hilarious when the security guard had no idea what that meant. I've had good luck though. When I was leaving Berlin, the guy was like, "Oh, my wife plays AoE too." But UK tends to be kind of very strict compared to other EU countries from my experiences. Do you need a passport for the UK? Where are you from? For the US, you do need a passport, yes, but you don't need a special visa application. Or maybe you do nowadays. It might be like a $5 entry fee. There was something that changed for US travelers. And so Hera's making a scout transition to try to counter the Skirms. Skirms from Viper is still running down the archers. But behind this, both players up to the castle age, Hera getting up just a bit faster, Viper going bloodlines and scale barding armor, and he's getting ready to use that Slavic farm economy to pump out knights. Will the Slav eco be better than the Armenian eco? I think so. Those mule cart extra technologies will be useful, but Hera has to add them in. He will get a free relic. Let's take a quick look at the relics. It is a 5 relic map. There'll be an extra free relic there basically for Hera. The other 3 relics spread out in the middle, roughly 1 in the middle, and then 1 for each player, and Viper having 1 relic for himself in the corner. Should be his, but warrior priests are very scary when it comes to picking up relics. Viper will get out knights and clear those archers easily. Hera will keep those light cav alive for sniping off monks and controlling relics, I think. Yeah, UK not in the EU anymore. It was for our older meetups. Not all EU countries are Schengen area countries either. I know Ireland also has a different passport system. Usually it's something I don't have to worry about being from the US if I'm just taking a few weeks throughout Europe. But other people certainly do. There's the chain barding armor on the way for the blacksmith, and TC going up for Viper. Looking good for Hera with 3 TCs and a monastery. He does have a good 3 TC eco added in. Viper does have 2. And now it comes down to Viper. Can he get enough pressure with his knights to make up for not having the TC that Hera does? Hera will start pulling ahead in Vils. And right now he's very well defended, with monks out to snipe off the knights. Oh, and waiting for players. Okay, that's just on my end. My internet does that so often. I've noticed the past week since I updated my modem. Gives me that tiny brief pause. And Vil here. Hera snipes a Vil with his light cav. Will he get 2 Vils? He'll get 1. And that one will run around 6 HP, but still capable of sniping monks as Viper goes to pick up a relic. And the scout doesn't get the low HP Vil. Viper has to pull the knight away from his mining camp though. So scores flipping as Hera pulls ahead in resources and also is picking up relics. What military do we like late game? I would imagine Drazina champions probably are better than Farader's champions, but that's just my imagination. I haven't actually seen that. The trample damage from Drazina. Viper is still pressuring with knights. Over eco damage instead of TC feels like a gamble. It does feel like a gamble, and he's not really amassing knight numbers. Hera can add in knights himself and keep walling. And Hera's already 1k res ahead. And it's not like Viper is really collecting all the relics. He gets to 3 versus 3, that'd be great for him. But I think it's going to be 4 versus 2. Yeah, it'll be 4 versus 2 relics, Hera grabbing the one in the middle. And Devotion for Viper looks like he wants to push now, but Hera's pretty well defended. And with fortified churches, he should be able to shut down Mangonel pressure. This could be a situation where Viper wants to go 2 TC faster imp for a forward castle, and play the way Vinch has been playing his games. With that forward castle and map control, but the Slavs don't have Bombard Cannon, and they don't have Arbalests, so it would be a very tricky build for them to pull that off. The Slavs usually a civ you want more eco. Go for Halbs, Halb Siege, or even a Cav play. And Hera's going to make a play for that far relic. Husbandry on the way for Viper. And so he didn't grab a relic lead. And he will be going for a workshop push. Mangonels. And here the question is, how long does he hide the Mangonels before unleashing them? And how many does he want? If he gets 3 or 4 Mangonels and then can blindside Hera, that could be cool. But the timing is also tricky, as Hera will be adding in more barracks. Part of me thinks Viper could add a second workshop and go double workshop Mangonels. Then get 5 Mangonels and all of a sudden show up on Hera's doorstep and bam. Even with that many, you can start threatening churches. And Hera right now, with his main gold at the front, still has a second gold in the back, so at a pretty good gold situation still, mining stone, so he's ready to do a defensive castle if he needs to at some point. Hera, a good combination of knights and light cav now. And a good combination of monks. Viper at least is devoted. He's doing forging. So Hera now will see upgrades on Viper's cav. +2 defense and a +1 attack. Viper adding a forward stable. And Hera will wall as Viper comes around, but that'll draw the Vils into the line of fire of the Mangonels. And Hera immediately has to pull back. Those walls won't stay up for long. The cav are in. The cav are in. This is really tricky, though, because Hera has a good number of cav himself, and he can go pick off the Mangonels if Viper doesn't defend them properly. Hera committing to her castle on the front of his base, but that'll leave this back TC open and exposed. 20 extra Vils for Hera, and Viper at home, for the most part safe, still defended by his TCs, but Viper will be struggling for wood soon. He'll need to move out and take one of these woods in the middle of the map, or this wood in the northern corner. Mangonel's going for the TCs, but this is awkward now. Viper needs to make sure he kills the cav and gets a good Mangonel shot on the pikemen. Hera will pull back. Will Hera lose all of his cav going for the Mangonels? Will he lose them? Scorpion in the back, but that goes down. Castle Age Halb from Hera. Castle Age Halb, all the Mangonels go down, and Hera has stopped this push. Sanctity and Redemption on the way. And Viper not able to deal with Castle Age Halbs. Alright, so this might be GG. I think Hera may have won right now. Viper gonna go Man-at-Arms. This is looking like a 2-2 set now. Armenians a civ I'd probably favor on Arabia against Slavs anyway. And seeing how this played out, Viper was hoping he'd have enough eco to do a strong cav push in late Castle Age, but against Halbs, well, that doesn't work out. Yeah, I also agree. I don't really like Mangonel pushes against cav civs when you don't have monks backing them up, because knights are efficient at sniping off your Mangonels. It's one thing if you have pikes defending them. But now, 4th TC for Hera. He's still holding behind that castle. And if Viper goes longswords, he would need Drazina, I'd guess, because Hera simply can go Castle Age 2-handed swordsman. Hera looking to drop a forward castle. There's a GG from Viper, and he cleans that. And we are tied up 2-2. That's more the type of game you expect Hera to play. That very clean eco. Viper dead. Interesting approach from Viper. I felt like he could have played 3 TCs and boomed there, and still get to that late game Halb siege composition for the Slavs, and I think you're still okay against Armenians. The Slavs, Armenians, same draft position for them. So they've been picking similarly drafted leveled civs so far. And immediately they're getting in the lobby again. and some random drawing in the lobby, of course. I did the opposite for Civ Victory. Oh, did I? Oh, I did. Armenians over Slavs. Thank you, thank you. Button pressing is hard. Hello, no co-caster today. Ornlu is not around. Well, you're here for the finals. That's what matters. What matters is if Hera loses. We see an Imperial Age this match. I think there's a good chance we do. Alright, so. Viper. We have a 2-minute spec delay before the next game, but Viper has opted to play his #1 picked Chinese now. Hera going for the Gajurs. Civ matchup where I do favor the Chinese, and I think the Gajurs struggle against Fire Lancers mightily. For some reason, the lobby title is titled LY. That's an interesting one. You need a best of 15, T90 versus T-West. T90 certainly is the better player. Maybe if we had like some very... Usually it was like years ago we played, he'd be better on Arabia. I'd be better on weird settings. Alright, and here we are. We'll have Hera as the blue Gajurs to the south, Viper as the yellow Chinese to the north, and Hera, duplicate rugs, once again. 5 out of the 6 rugs he has. And Hera still has Chinese on his draft board. And if we get a flipped Civ matchup, if Viper wins this, and then Hera wins his Chinese, that means his Chinese game, that means we're tied 3-3. We won't have a Chinese mirror. Viper trying to take a lead here. Viper will have a back gold, that bow tie gold shape. He'll have a back wood line, but not a good walling area near it. He could go around the wood line towards the TC. A couple houses there around the wood line with the buildings, be safe there, and go to the rear. Part of me thinks Viper could go FC Fire Lancers. Maybe that's going to be in the back of Hera's mind, FC Lancers. Only 16 seconds of idle time so far for Viper. That is crazy good for the Chinese. 7 on sheep there, luring in the boar. We will hunt the boar now with the Vittles and the TC, get it into a good spot. And maybe a tiny bit more idle time as he's taking the boar. I'll need to do a force drop, and 21 total seconds of idle time. But really good Dark Age so far from Viper, and now that he has the boar in, shouldn't have any more Chinese idle time. This is both their first picks. Well, no, Hera still has Chinese. Hera still has Chinese. So if we have a, I'm thinking it will be both players winning their Chinese game. So 3-3 at some point. Depends when Hera picks them. Maybe he saves them for a potential game 9. Or at least a potential elimination match. Mouflon pushed in there from Hera. Taking the Mouflon, putting his sheep in the middle. Hera's map will have a very exposed main gold. Secondary gold in the back. He could wall that up and keep it safe. It's far enough in the corner. It'll be alright for him. His other gold is pretty far forward, as are his stones. Now this one at least kind of near woodline if he wants to wall. His other boar is to the side. He didn't scout his boar though, unless he saw it earlier. He might assume it's there and just send a Vil in that area though, because he scouted everywhere else and the boar's not going to be anywhere else, unless it's down there. Which would be a risk if he blindly sends a Vil and doesn't have the boar there. I remember against Hart, when Hera was against the Chinese, he immediately sent a Vil forward to Lame. And same thing against the Khitans when he was against Yo. So not going to do that here. Trash Wars Gajuras? Trash Wars Gajuras don't have halbs. They don't have even pikemen. They're a tricky civ to pin down for the Trash Wars because they have cheap Hussars. But the Hussars then miss their final attack upgrade. Their Skirms miss the final armor upgrade. And then they only have spears. So not something I'd actually think of as great by itself in a Trash War. Useful in team games for spamming the Hussars, of course, and still useful in some situations for raiding everywhere with Hussars. Certainly fits Hera's style when you do Kshatriyas and get the food discount, but limited in their options. And I don't think the Civ has a great answer early on to fire. Oh, what is that? That is... The Vil turns to fight the boar. Turns to fight the boar. Hera should get the Vil back okay. Boars are still close enough that there's no real risk. But that's not what he wants in the finals, to risk losing a Vil to the boar. What causes such a big discrepancy in score? 1, Viper is the Chinese, has more Vils and more res collected. 2, Hera has been pushing everything, and Viper has been scouting. The scouting will cause this discrepancy in the score. Oh my gosh, look at that scouting. Viper scouted everything. Must have lamed and took 2 goats back. Or taking 2 goats back. I don't know, maybe I missed the scout going forward when I was looking at the maps. I was looking at his boar lore and his Chinese eco earlier. So only 23 seconds of eco of idle time for the Chinese. That is pretty much what you want to see. Really clean builds might be a bit faster than that, but that's about as good as you're going to get. Sending tons of Vils over to wood. As the forward berries. 5 Vils on the berries at the front. This was something Viper did. This would have been 2015, 2014 Viper. I watched a ton of Viper Arabia Hun games back then. He'd always put 5 Vils on berries. Everyone else would be going 4, he'd put 5. I don't know if that was something Cab told him to do, or maybe he picked it up from somewhere. I probably have this Vil taking the middle berry there. Would have balanced it out maybe a bit more, but the faster you take the berries, the fewer spots you have to defend. So having an extra Vil out there can help you out early on. Gonna be pushing in a Mouflon here. And the Chinese should have a much better eco than the Gajurs. Hera in the past has liked to send some sheep back from the mill towards the TC, and has only 6 out of 8, so it must have been Viper with a very early lame, taking them and not letting Hera get them into the mill. And for a player who does like to ungarrison them and use them in mid to late feudal as an eco boost, that will hurt his ability to do that. He will need more farms in feudal. Hera unloomed. Hera loomed. Hera is loomed. And Viper, as the Chinese certainly is loomed, he will add in a sable, add in a spear, and bring his scout forward to look around and scout. Very defensive archery range from Hera. Now, if it goes super late game, against the Fire Lancers, Chakram Throwers, and Hand Cannoneers will probably be good, as even could Elephant Archers. But the stable, the Light Cav, Shravamstrider, Camel line, that the Gajurs like to use so much, will probably be an easy counter for Viper. The Chinese still do have Halbs. They have elite Fire Lancers that move faster. And the only tech that the Chinese miss in their tech tree here is crop rotation. But they do at least have a bit of a food bonus. Not as much as crop rotation, though. Plus 10% food after the nerf. So Spear comes over. And did Viper see the range? He did not see the range. He sees the barracks. And he sees there aren't any men-at-arms at his doorstep yet. A couple of sheep still hoovering around. Elegant archers, I like that. Instead of elephant archers, elegant archers. Yeah, there goes Hera. There goes his ungarrisoning of the sheep. There he goes. And blacksmith for Viper, and fairly standard scouts into skirms from him. Still adding some spears, or adding some farms, defending at home. And Hera so far keeping pace with the Chinese economy. Viper not doing much harassment. He's going for some very compact walls himself, taking the gold on the front. Now Gambesons, that's true, they don't have Gambesons. No Gambesons for the Chinese. So their Fire Lancers do not have their final Pierce Armor upgrade. There'll be one Pierce Armor for them. Fletching on the way for a Viper, as he will come forward with scouts, skirms, and spears. Surprised he went skirms without seeing archers. Well, he did see the spear. He knew he wanted something to clear the spear. It's maybe a risk to go too heavily into skirms against the camel civ when you might want archers to turn into crossbows and fight camels. But so far, skirms should be a good read for him if he can take a decent fight. He is fletching no armor. Hera committing to forging. Committing to forging for his spears. And the camel scout. Interesting, interesting. And Hera adding a stable, adding in scouts. Wanting to go scouts now. Skirm's trying to cause a bit of harassment. I don't like going after the vills with scouts there. I want to save all my HP on the scouts. And Hera, ooh, can the sheep be lamed? Can the sheep be lamed? Yes, he gets a sheep. He gets a sheep. Viper gets a sheep. Here's come over. If there's one thing Viper wants, it's to kill that camel scout now. And he does. And will he be able to pick off more archers? Still a lot of skirms, but they will be fighting scouts. He'll get maybe another archer pick. Ooh, nice micro from Hera. Beautiful micro from Hera to run all the archers away. And he's now with a 10 to 4 KD. And he so far has kept even with economy, with the Chinese. 2 ranges for Viper though, going double range skirm plus crossbow as he adds in more farms behind this. He's still up by 3 vills and his EQ is looking smooth. And where I said he probably would want horse collar early on, did not get it. Not opt for horse collar. And now he needs to hold this hill, but he's going to lose it. He will lose the hill. Splitting his skirms up from the archers to try to get the best fight they can against the archers, but forging scouts from Hera doing tons of damage to the skirms. This is what it feels like to have scouts that actually do kill skirms. But with double ranges, Hera won't be able to hang out too long. He'll idle a couple of farms there, and he'll be up first. Viper is still a ways away. Did invest into quite a few scouts of his own. He's expensive on his food. There's an archer picked off there from Hera. And Viper now with the numbers advantage, 7 to 5 archers. Some of those are hurt. And I don't think Hera wants to hang around too much longer with his scouts. He'll do armor. Viper will do a 3rd range. Hera not there to see it. So 3 range archers from the Chinese, and that means when Viper gets up, he will look to get aggressive. And maybe it'll be archer plus fire lancer for him. He has a bit of a timing window now. He's relying on his food to go up and not doing a market. So he's going to be quite slow compared to Hera. Not that 19 minutes is all that slow of an uptime, but it'll be quite slow. 5-2 is the final score. If Viper can't win the game with the Chinese, then his odds are not looking pretty good. This is an absolutely crucial game for him. Hera coming forward with more archers of his own. And he's on 2 ranges himself. 30 seconds away from being up. Viper clicks, but he'll be over 2 minutes behind. And that'll be a nice timing window for Hera to keep adding more archers of his own. Take a fight with armor if he wants to. Use the hills. Lots of bumpy hills Hera can fall back to. And Viper still, if he wants to camp this hill, it'll be hard to do against crossbows with all their extra range. And there's Hera up to castle. Crossbow bodkin on the way. And does not feel like Viper managed the timing on his eco all that well. Res collected still the same, but he's still 2 minutes behind, and he will be giving up this hill and lots of farming space. Right now he's trying to dive and take as many archers from Hera as he can before the upgrades come in, but that was not a good fight from Viper. That was the opposite of what he wanted, even with the hill. Creating 4 archers for 2, and now Hera with crossbows can hoover all around this eco, and behind this Hera can do whatever he wants, and what he wants is a university in ballistics, so that even if Viper gets up and gets his upgrades in those gates, he won't be able to take a fight. This is delaying the fight, and with ballistics, Hera then can add in more TCs behind this, or he can think about going forward for a workshop. Being the Chinese, though, keeping Viper in the game so far with the eco he has. 2 minutes to defend is very hard. At least the scouts are starting to go down, but ballistics on the way for Hera. Viper will see Hera's not investing into more scouts. They don't have upgrades. Oh, they're trying to run off the edge of the map. Where's he going? Where's he going? Nilly! I'm afraid Viper will have to do a quick university. Well, I think that's where those vills are going. Quick university and ballistics. Ballistics will be nice and cheap for the Chinese, as will be the rest of their upgrades. And where is Viper going with these archers? Part of me feels Ungarus and everything keep one mass together. And Hera did have to go for the early ballistics, so hasn't had super early TCs. Viper, where is his stone? Why does he only have 75 stone? Oh, he did a tower. He did a tower to defend the wood line from the archers. Yeah, that makes sense. But he doesn't have a market yet, so can't buy it back. And Viper will want to take a very good fight with ballistics. Crossbow on the way. Setting a small group of crossbows around to raid Hera. And they'll both have ballistics. Hera will have the second armor. Viper won't have any armor. And Viper still needs armor before he can take the fights. He does have numbers at least. 25 to 19 crossbows. And he's trying to get a sneak around to the side. We'll see if he's able to pick off any vills with that. He's sneaking around Hera. Hera sees there's no army here, and he's recognizing Viper's going forward, and he's bringing his army back. Great recognition from Hera to realize what Viper's trying to do with his army. Viper will find a TC, might grab a Vill there. And Viper will be hitting 2 sides at once. Still with the numbers advantage, and sending his Viper will be microing 3 groups at once. Elite Skirm from Hera. He sees the TC and runs. Will think about taking a fight with the hill, but still doesn't have any armor. What's going to happen to this scoop of crossbows? Will Viper get it from 2 sides? He's downhill, though. I think this is an okay fight for Hera, considering he has the armor and the hill. Viper has the numbers, though, and numbers often are the most important thing. Elite Skirm for Hera, but he hasn't been producing them yet. Despite the extra TC, Viper's still not falling behind in Vill numbers because he is indeed raiding on the wood line. There was an overchop on the wood line. Viper has to deal with the Skirm. Hera trying to YOLO some micro over here, some CBA micro, and it is paying off. Overall, Hera still with a much better KD. Viper going to do the same thing. With picking off 1 or 2 crossbows here and there. And Viper will be aggressive. Viper will be aggressive this game. He is going forward for a workshop. He sees the double TC from Hera. He sees the full-on skirms. But will he have the workshop? Oh, double workshop. He's going to go double workshop Scorpions as the Chinese. This has to be Scorpion and not Mangonel with ballistics. Oh my gosh. And the Scorpions will help deal with the skirms. He needs to get those workshops up. Viper, while doing the workshops, will try to loop around the side, but Hera will be coming forward, and Viper has to be careful Hera doesn't end up denying the workshops. That would be game if he did. Masterpiece time. Hera will see it now, but you'll see 85%. He denies both workshops here. No, he doesn't. Okay. I was scared for a moment there. Viper has to be careful with his crossbows. He's going to lose a lot of crossbows here. Where is the micro? Where is the Micro? Micro is nowhere to be found, and Hera comes forward, massacring that army. And Viper now needs to do some damage to Hera. Hera doesn't have any walls. He's losing a couple of ills. Viper wants a path inside. Hera has to come back with skirms to defend. And Hera will lose eco here. Viper at least has that tower. That is a key tower for him now. He'll need to run Vils off of the gold, though. I run them to build a house. Oh, he's going rocket carts. Rocket carts, where are the scorpions? Going rocket carts? You can't go a rocket cart against Hera. He'll dodge that. He'll dodge that for the entire game. Viper will try to pick off more Vils, and he will. Okay, he's evening the Vil numbers a bit, but losing a couple of Vils by his gold. And I feel that you need to do scorpions against Hera. If you go rocket cards, you'll out-micro them. Viper lost so much army on that hill. Now he's down by 8 Vils, down by almost 1k resources. And he kills a monk. Hera doing his own workshop. And Hera's still with an extra TC, so Viper still is on a timer. It doesn't have any more production from those workshops, and that's going to be the GG. As Viper can't win a game with the Chinese. That is rough for him. 64 to 31, Hera had the better feudal age economy management. And Viper could not pull that off. So 2 games in a row. Felt like Viper had opportunities but couldn't capitalize on them. It feels a bit early. I don't think so. I think he's losing everything at the front to this small group of crossbows, and he's not going to be able to do more damage now that Hera has a workshop. I think that's a completely fine GG. He's going to lose that rocket cart to skirms. He only has 1 rocket cart. Oh, there's Hera taking the lead. That was a loss with the Chinese. That's not what you want to see. It went with the Gajuras. Gajuras were pretty highly picked for Hera, though. So at least there's that. Hera still has Chinese and Vietnamese. Viper still has Wei and Georgians. Georgians, I feel, have done a lot of losing this tournament, though. So 3-2 now for Hera. As they are into game number 6 already. Siege Tower Archers. Maybe Viper could have gone Siege Towers there for the crossbows. Maybe that's what he was missing. And here we are. Game number 6. And you're telling me the odds are 88.4% for Hera. That's sounding pretty darn good for him. Oh my gosh, look at this wood line on the side of the map. That is a straight chunk of wood there. Anyway, Hera, what is he doing with his scout? He's grabbing tons of scouting early on. And looking to push it in early Gazelle. Did he lame already? What does he have here? Or are those his scouting sheep? He has 5 sheep there, 1 under the TC, 2. Okay, he didn't lame. Alright, so we will have Hera as the blue Tatars. He has a few duplicate rugs. And if you think 88.4% for Hera is the odds, I will tell you some better odds. I'll tell you 5 over 324. Those are the odds that Viper gets 1 of each rug, and he has done it. He's hit the jackpot. All 6 rugs around his TC. Viper has done it. He'll be the Yellow Mullions, guaranteed to win this game now and tie it up 3-3 with these rugs. Viper had an amazing Georgians game. He had an amazing game. I mean, Georgians are still a great civ, but I feel their greatness lies in a super late game eco with fortified churches. And Arabia usually is decided before that, so far in this tournament at least. Viper has a far worse space generation, but he's a far better rug generation. Speaking of his base, though, he does have forward berries, but a very back main gold, a couple of back wood lines that are fairly safe. Can wall up around here and be safe for the most part. Over here is nearly impossible to wall. If he wants a compact wall, could do a very huge wall, go over here and deal with whatever this is against the edge of the map. Yeah, he hit the rug pot. Saving Chinese for game 10. Hera might save Chinese for game 10. Viper kills the deer with his TC. That makes me sad to see. I'll miss the days you had to pay attention to your TC. Twin backwood lines could make for an interesting walled in eco. If you could somehow wall that gold. Go like loop around the gold maybe. Imagine buildings, military buildings out here walling around the back? Maybe. And this is a simple wall. The berry's still super forward. Hera though, another map with a back main gold for him. We'll have a pretty easy wall from whatever this chunk of wood is on the side to this wood line, over to the TC, and then to the edge of the map. So Hera with a very simple to wall map if he scouts it properly, and I think he has. His Civ matchup is probably camels versus cav archers, which can go either way. But with Hera's micro, I would expect the cav archers to be favored. You try to amass cav archers while delaying the fight. And then when it finally comes, you have enough cav archers to kill the camels. But any mistake letting the camels jump the cav archers, and they will massacre them. So probably higher potential with perfect micro from Hera, but maybe also harder to play. So Loom on the way. Not to say it's easy to micro camels either. You have to avoid losing all the camels in bad fights. It'll be the 18 pop-up for Hera with Loom. Looks like 19 pop-up with a Viper. Or for Viper with Loom. Viper should be pretty well walled so far. Not taking his berries, going for the pre-mill drush, and not adding any militia yet. So this is just a debate from him. Hera did scout that, but he ran away and didn't continue scouting for more militia. He sees Viper adding a second lumber camp. What is he going to think Viper's up to? He'll see the lumber camp. He's not bothering to scout for the drush. So no drush from Viper. Hera will scout that there is a hole in the back of the map. Maybe he'll reveal that to Viper. Viper sees that though. Viper has a sheep back there still. And Viper realizing, yep, I should wall that. That scout keeps hoovering around. Viper forward, seeing areas where Hera might potentially wall later on. Only 2 on berries for Hera, late on the stable, and maybe this could be a scout's opening from him, not worried about the gold yet, simply taking his wood. Super late game is what you want. Viper has a very safe stone back here. Yeah, in some sense, but it's also pretty far from the TC, and it would be a pretty big wall for him to keep that safe. The other stone's pretty forward. And what is that mining camp? Did you do a doubt mining camp with an extra tile from the gold? Aw, Viper. Is this doubt now? What is that mining camp? He's immediately going for a range. He just says the Malians have a gold mining bonus. They mine too well anyway. Need to nerf them a bit. So both players fighting on the hill with their scouts. Viper gets a couple hits in. Hera losing the scout. Hera will go for a range himself. Horse collar himself, so eco approach with horse collar in the range, not making anything from it yet, opening with a spear from the barracks, and then going skirms. Should flare the mining camp and it would be insta GG, he should flare it. Absolutely, he should flare it. That would be perfect. That is how to taunt Viper. So Viper now going for the mill, just now, and those berries are exposed. You'll see the range, and 1 skirm. Is this a debate skirm from Hera? He's not actually adding military, just wants Viper to think he is. So debate barracks from Viper, debate skirm from Hera. Both of them booming, walling, and not doing military. Viper will wall here. This is maybe Viper could wall to the edge, but it would be much harder for him to reinforce the walls were he to do that. Maybe move these 2 tiles 1 tile farther though, that could be nice. Take more of the hill away from the gold. Viper ready to defend. You believe in the rugs. I hope Viper does. Viper going double ranges. Okay, 2 games in a row going double ranges. And if Hera is doing simply a debate skirm, maybe archers come in and kill him before he has the defenses up. He's trying to palisade now. Viper with 4 archers on their way forward. Almost a team game build here with all those archers, but 2 ranges and a mill instead. No fletching yet for him. Hera's not 500 res ahead, indeed. Vills are tied, no idle time, and pretty similar res counts. Spear for Hera coming over. This is a big hole on the side for Hera, but Viper would have a timing window to get in there before Hera's walled. And right now, Hera indeed is walled over here. Viper needs a blacksmith, and without fletching... There he goes, there's fletching. He didn't even wall himself over here. Don't know if he wants to, might have just messed up a shift queue, but... I think he wants to wait for fletching before hitting the wood line. He's going to see how walled Hera is. Don't like him getting horse collar. They have an advantage with the sheep. Maybe. Horse collar is still horse collar, though. It's not like he had to spend on men-at-arms or army early. He did 1 skirm and is waiting for the archers to come forward before doing more. Now that he sees the archers, will defend. And reading Viper wanted to go archers. He will go pure skirm for the moment. Viper will need to pull back from that wood line with his archers, and he does. There's another group. He needs to make sure he doesn't forget about them. No, he doesn't. And Viper wants the hit on the scout. He's getting debated, though. And we'll be hitting Vills. Now he is fletching. Can be annoying here. Trying to keep Hera off of that wood line. Pulls back when the skirms come over. But that will help Viper pull slightly ahead in Vills. Skirm then horse collar is better, you think? Maybe if you go skirm then horse collar if you're delaying farms. I don't know. I mean, he did do Tatar sheep and then farms with horse collar. Viper using the market, selling stone, buying food, selling wood, buying food. He is nowhere close to going up. He's not gonna go for a scout transition, is he? Viper, you are not ready to go up, buddy. You are nowhere close to going up. It's 15 minutes into the game. Give yourself another minute or so. Last 2 games were too fast. You wanted to comment on the Slavs? Well, there's Hera moving out with skirms. What does Viper do against skirms? His starting scout has lost a lot of HP. He will leave some archers behind his army to try to harass the wood line. Is that worth it? I don't know. He's doing what he can to run. Hera will turn around. And no dead Vills on the wood line. A couple of weak ones. But 2 archers won't be enough. Is that a Gebeto bait? Show me the game without names, you call it the other way around. Okay, well, Viper greedily going up to the castle age. Not mining any stone, so no Gebetos for him. Double ranges, adding in more archers, 11 now, and more on the way up. Still no horse collar for him. Lost 2 archers forward, nowhere for them to run. But ahead by 500 res collected and up to the castle age first. Malians are strong. Malians strong. Hera won't be behind by too much, and he will be able to go for skirmishers right away. So what does Viper do against skirmisher? He's sending Vills forward, and Viper wants to be aggressive. Viper wants to be aggressive, and looks like he wants to plop down a forward siege workshop along with those archers. And the question is, what does he make from that workshop, and will it be a siege tower? Will it be a siege tower? Will it be scorpions, mangonels, rams? I guess you open with the mangonel, but it still is Hera. Viper will singleton lose a skirm. And Gebetos do murder skirms, but I think he's up too fast to go for a castle. He will be up a minute faster. And Hera so far using the skirms to patrol his wood line. Doesn't have anything over here securing his main gold. And with Viper pushes, the other gold for Hera is forward. The 3rd gold for Hera is forward. There's an extra gold over here that maybe is Hera's saving grace. And Hera hasn't scouted that though. Even though he was fighting Viper's army over here, he hasn't scouted it. Viper idling those Vills a bit as he's going forward. So he will try to sneak some archers up to the side, and when he presses forward with the workshop here and reveals himself, and Hera has to bring the skirms over, then Viper can hit the wood line. So this is tricky now if he goes Bodkin crossbow and can go through a palisade, and he risks leaving his archers inside where they're exposed to skirms. And Hera will do a market right away. And he can go for a downhill palisade as crossbow bot can come in. Crossbow is pretty good against feudal skirms, and now he moves in on the wood line, but Hera, ready for that, towers the wood line. Towers the wood line, immediately goes for a defensive market, leaves his gold. Viper will have to move off of there, but Hera going for stone, going for a defensive castle maybe? Does Hera want to go Keshiks now? Hera has his market denied. Market denied. The crossbows are in. Hera has no gold access now. He's running forward. Ballistics on the way for Viper. Ballistics will make this a scary fight against feudal skirms, especially if Hera can't upgrade. And Viper will pick the Vills. Gets the Vill. 2 Vills there. 2 Vill lead for Viper. Smooth eco for him. And did he see this? He didn't see Hera went forward. All he needs is 1 tile of scouting. There's a castle. Viper saw the castle. Viper saw the castle. He has a mangonel there. The Vills are lined up for the Scorpion. The Vills are lined up for the Scorpion. The mangonel hits the skirms. The mangonel hits the skirms. He needs another good shot, and the castle is gone. They're feudal skirms still. And Viper will go for the Vills rather than the skirms. The skirms are all dead. How many Vills will he kill here? Hera losing Vills to the mangonel, losing everything. The castle does go up, though. Viper will probably lose the crossbows to Keshiks eventually. Viper, he can mangonel the TC from under the castle. Hera has no eco for making Keshiks. He doesn't have any gold. Viper now needs to be on stand ground here. Hello, Epic Sea Dragon. And Hera will call the GG, and Viper will tie it up, and now he has to be really kicking himself for losing that Chinese game, because he'd be up 4-2. But what the heck was that? The Malians build from Viper perfectly executed. The greedy one skirm defense from Hera, not enough. It felt like Hera was anticipating Viper going for the gold and going for the woodline at the same time, but when he towered the woodline, he lost the gold. And when we said Hera had a very safe map that he could wall easily right from the start, well, he did, and Viper took advantage of that. When Hera didn't do any military, let's go. Let's go, 29-7 KD for Viper. Better eco for Viper. 19 to 20 minute castle time for Viper. All right. And that Chinese game that he lost now hurts. That hurts a lot. All right, let me do the ad first before the score. And then here, 3-3. Viper ties it up. That's a win with the Malians and a loss for the Tatars. So Hera still has Vietnamese Chinese. And you get to the what if this Viper goes way in Georgians for the next 2 games and we end up with a game 9 where he goes Burmese versus Bohemians dueling Phosphoros? We could have a double Phosphoro for the decider. Will we go to game 9? We will go at least to game 8. Hello, LL. Is it random? They can select any civ. Although at the start of the set, you really don't know. It is mostly random, right? If your opponent has 11 civs, it's hard to guess what they're going to pick. No imp after 6 games? Oh, that's true, no imp after 6 games. Interesting to see that after Vinch's playstyle, which was mostly getting to imp as ASAP as he could. This is a must-win for both sides, so I expect Chinese Wei. Wei is safe that might be able to keep pace with the Chinese eco. I'm surprised people never took it more seriously with Viper's reaction to the Phosphorus interview. If you think about it, we had a time on Arabia where we had fewer builds than we had in the past with the loss of the Drush FC. And this is, I think, in some ways a return of the FC, just in different ways. Take Georgians before Wei. Question is, will Hera save Chinese for a potential Game 9? It feels like this is now the spot Hera takes Chinese, but where the Civ Viper, I think, wants against the Chinese. And Vietnamese Wei, still, I don't know how that goes. Fire Lancers are always crazy. Imp will not exist for this set? It might not. It might not. Bohemians, Italians, Game 9. Nah, Bohemians, Burmese, Phosphoro, Game 9. Hey, Burmese were an old school Game 9 KOTD pick. That was KOTD 1. If I recall, that was Burmese Malians. Thank you, Potteresque, for using your Prime sub. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Keeping your cousin updated on the scoreboard, even though he's never played in RTS. Lovely. You're keeping your girlfriend updated even though she has zero interest in AoE. Keep everyone updated. A simple man, you prefer this channel? Well, I appreciate the sub. Oh, and we have launched into the game. We'll have a spec delay, but it'll be Hera indeed using the Chinese and Viper using the Japanese. So if there is a Civ where you want to attack the Chinese by going for a super early Drush or early feudal pressure, it is the Japanese. Your bride suffers from migraines. I suffer from migraines too. They are the worst. A week or two ago, I had a migraine. I built a fortress in my bathroom because I'm sensitive to light, and I have no windows, and I can turn off all the lights in the bathroom and put a towel under the door so no light bleeds in. And then I throw a whole bunch of blankets down and pillows so I can lie down. There's just enough room for me to lie down, and I have the toilet there because I get nauseous. It's easier to follow while multitasking. I think that's probably true because if I don't have a co-caster, I have to describe more, and it's more towards the radio than TV style of a sports broadcast. Puts a blanket over her head. Yeah, and I have to wrap myself up in blankets because I shiver. I get cold. You're glad there are no longer migraines? That's a good one. That's a good one. First time in years, Viper wins any match against Hera in a tournament? Well, he hasn't won yet. He has won games against Hera in the past. He won games in the Red Bull final in Spain. I was expecting this to be this close. Maybe Viper Jr. was. Okay, so Viper will be the yellow Japanese to the north. He won the last game behind the power of 6 rugs. And, well, to the northwest for Viper. And then Hera will be the blue Chinese to the east. Duplicate rugs for him too. And Viper lost his Chinese game. Hera wants to win his to go up 4-3 and look to close this out. No, I would never share my migraines. I don't wish that upon anyone. So Hera's map looks like a 4 woodline map, but his main gold and his berries are pretty far forward. Chinese with forward berries can give you an awkward start if you get drushed. To the back, he will have a second gold. And look at all these birds flying over his kingdom. Maybe he should abdicate because of that. Chinese versus Japanese. I think the Japanese are, if you're going to try to do something YOLO against the Chinese in the Dark Age or the Feudal Age, as I said, Japanese are the civ with which to do it. And you know what Viper also has? He has a pond. He is the Japanese, just saying. This is going to look mighty tempting to him. I'll bet. I bet he'd go for it. So lumber camp for Viper here on this wood line. And Risen NGC, thank you also for using your Prime sub. Thank you very much. Do I have an alert that pops up for that? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I had to, as someone asked earlier, the Mets did not re-sign Edwin Diaz. I can no longer use his walk-on music as my sub alert. I need to update my alerts. If we see a forward pond, that would be hilarious. I would love to see a dock. I would love to see a dock. I doubt he's gonna do it. Not even Viper. As I said, though, he picks the Japanese architecture. If he makes a mill, he could try to do some fish traps in the water there. Are those 6 different rugs? Nope, we have some duplicates there. And we have the duplicate blue rugs. Also, behind the TC, the duplicate red rolled rug. Here we'll be luring that boar from the right corner. You work, cook, and put the baby to bed without being glued to the screen. Nice. I want Hera to lose, but don't believe in Viper. Well, Viper building a house? Might be slightly housed. Tries to Alcatraz the Ville to save him. We'll go out and finish the house. Might be slightly housed for a moment or two, but that'll just be a couple seconds. Only 20 seconds of idle time for Hera, so extremely clean Chinese build from him. Putting 3 vills on wood and taking his boards. And what is Viper doing so far? Is he going to berries? No. Hera will be poking and prodding around looking for Viper to do a barracks. Viper has had some extremely strong men-at-arms pushes in the past. Earlier rounds against Classic Bro went men-at-arms with Arson, I think 5 men-at-arms, and broke through palisades so fast that Classic Bro wasn't prepared for it. FC Samurai in Siege Towers? Why don't you say hi? Ooh, if Viper does that and wins, that would be crazy. Ooh, here's a question. Fire Lancers, do they count as unique units, such that Samurai would get an attack bonus against them? Oh, is Hera laming a deer from across the map? Yeah, he is. Just Hera things. 6 vills on berries, too. So this looks like Hera wants to play defensive, seeing his map and that back gold and all the wood he has. And his plan is to take the berries as ASAP as he can, wall up here to the TC, and use both wood lines and the TC as the wall, and have this entire back area. We'll have a gold, a stone, and 2 to 4 wood lines, and 4 birds flying around, all safe. I don't think shock infantry is unique units. Well, if it's not, at least Samurai do still have a bonus against shock infantry. That's true. And then Feudal Age is on the way for Hera. Loom for Viper as the Japanese. He will be clicking up 20 population uptiming for him. And with the barracks, looks like it'll be a simple man-at-arms push from the Japanese, what you'd expect from them. Give Samurai bonus against regional units. Maybe that'll make them useful. They're fast and zoomy now. They have a charge attack. And here come the militia, saying, hey, there's only 1 ibex here. We've been lamed. Keeping the birds safe is key. Yeah, look at them go there. They aren't leaving. They're staying back here. Oh, there's a 5th bird there, too. This was one of the old map scripting hacks people did. If you wanted to hide your objects that you're replacing. Nowadays we have lots of invisible objects, or objects that don't have graphics that we use as placeholders. But some older map scripts I worked with use birds as a placeholder object. Because the bird, once you place it and the game starts, it flies away randomly. It doesn't stay in the same spot. So you won't notice the little hacks you do by placing birds everywhere if they fly away. Of course, you can't use thousands and thousands of birds like I do placeholders now. But it is a cute hack I've seen sometimes. They do explode if they die, but there's no way to kill them in the middle of a game. You could set their HP to 0 somehow for an explosion. I'm sure there would be a use for that. Some type of decaying corpse as a timer, and then a bird explosion. And here come the men-at-arms. Has Harris seen this? He has. He sees it. Extra line of sight on the Chinese. That is an incredible buff for them. And Viper with the men-at-arms will come forward. That house will have HP on it. The house will go up. That house will go up. In the back, Viper brings his scout over. And the Hera will idle the Vil a bit. And that house might need some repairs. Arson on the way for Viper. As Hera will send more Vils to repair. There is arson on Japanese men-at-arms. Hera sending 4 Vils to repair. The scout might get a kill. He's had to send another low HP Vil. Will the house go down? That got down to 20 HP. Under 20 HP. That is close. That is really close. Viper needs 1 more man-at-arms. You have to spend so much time repairing against the Japanese. And finally Hera gets an archer over. But that was a lot of Vil time he just idled to repair that house. Still up by 3 Vils, and he's taking a forward gold. Oh, Japanese men-at-arms with arson are very scary. Viper King, I think that got down to 13 HP. If that house goes down, the Vils get slaughtered by men-at-arms. If Viper had 1 more man-at-arms in there, he'd have assuredly killed that. And Blacksmith on the way. Viper might want 1 spear to dissuade the scout from hitting skirms. Or maybe he'll just bring the men-at-arms back. As Hera's trying to get archers and skirms now. And idle economy time is something, but the Chinese still up by 300 resources. And going for the men-at-arms, Viper did not do horse collar. At least Hera didn't either. In Halo 1, there was a very specific patch. The Rise of Rome first edition. So if you had the CD Rise of Rome, you probably played that version. Subsequent patches fixed it. But on that one specific version, you couldn't do it on the original game. It was just in the Rise of Rome. You could hunt the birds with villagers and they'd explode. And Viper trying to wall up. Hera with the scout there. The scout has been slightly weakened. Skirms and archers there will help the Vil. And that wall will go up. Clutching on the way now for Viper. Okay, that looks like it's probably a YouTube issue then, because on my side it looks okay. Let me know if there's any lag though. Had a unique version of the game. It wasn't a unique version of the game, it was just the first patch. Back then when patches were not automatically updated. Unless you knew to go online and look for the patch somewhere, I doubt you would have installed it. But the original Rise of Rome CD, you could have hunted the birds. But if you had one of the later re-releases or the gold edition, then the patch was probably applied to it. Okay, men-at-arms still hoovering around. The AoE1 Rise of Rome, you could hunt and kill the birds with villagers. Those hawks flying around, be slaughtered by Vils. So, 7 skirms, 2 archers for Hera. Viper walled using his gold. Viper does have a gold in the back, but that's not behind his walls, even though he could try to wall it up. Went for a more compact wall, but he has 5 skirms still, and his men-at-arms out and about. And those men-at-arms staying alive still can be dangerous. Hera will go around the side. Right now, Viper walled up to the edge of the map. Doing a market, selling his stone. Not quite ready to go up yet. And Hera pulling ahead, still with the Chinese. And this is maybe a good fight for Hera. He has the scout with HP, but wait a minute. Viper has men-at-arms on the way. Viper has men-at-arms. Skirms there could focus the archers. And the scout for Hera goes down. Hera trying to do wheelbarrow. He has a tower, so I don't think Viper wants to pressure that tower. Archer goes down. He did build a tower on his gold and in the wood line. And now Viper, trying to save the men-at-arms, will probably lose the skirms. Gets a double kill. Wait a minute. Maybe he doesn't lose the skirms. Here come more men-at-arms over. Men-at-arms still pushing this. Maybe Viper should have committed with the men-at-arms there. He's about to go up and will be up first. I'm not sure what he does when he's up, though. There he goes. Alright. So he is up, still has a score lead, but down by 1,000 res collected. And that just makes the Chinese Gajur's game all the more impressive for Hera, that he did not fall this far behind in economy. Japanese, no real good eco bonus for them. Yeah, they save the early mining camp wood, lumber camp wood, mill wood, but that falls apart when they're on a land map and they don't have fish. Japanese CA seems enticing. Do Fire Lancers counter that? Remember, this is still the Civ, where Hera will have Fire Lancers and Siege Towers. And, man, that was so close. If that house goes down, and the men-at-arms get in, Hera probably loses the game. Yeah, well, I was so close. That got down. I saw 13 HP, I think. It definitely got under 20. Imagine the men-at-arms killed 2 or 3 vills there. Viper needs knights first. Maybe he's thinking about that with the stable. But the knights also die to the Fire Lancers. Fire Lancers have an attack bonus against Cav. And here come the skirms in on the gold. But seeing the scouts, Hera will pull back and try to wait for elite skirm. Maybe Viper decides to engage. There he goes, engaging on the skirms. And he's up to castle. More skirms from Hera coming over, but Viper, taking a good fight, is going to look to clean them with his scouts as best he can. Hera bringing his scout over at his full HP. Viper focusing the scout first. Hera trying to bring over more scouts. And Viper will kill a scout and have to fall back, maybe, focusing another scout. Skirm's doing damage there, and he is going Cav Archers. Double range Cav Archers along with a Knight. Knight to deal with the skirms, but no upgrades on the Knight make that awkward. And skirms hoovering around trying to get to the gold. And he sees Viper going Cav Archers. Viper has to use the Knight. Viper takes pokes from the spear on the Cav Archer. The Cav Archer almost dies to the spear. One Knight over. But without any armor, the skirms, once they become elite skirms, will be decent against the Knight still. And I'm not quite sure how Viper hopes to defend against that many skirms. Still has a score lead. Vill counts are still the same. It is crazy how the Chinese have the same Vill count and are up by over 1,500 resources, but they are. CA have not been nerfed into the ground, no. Now Hera with a Knight, Viper will abandon that gold and go for a monastery. The Japanese do have good monks. Hera will go for ballistics, he'll go for a second range himself. No Fire Lancers, but skirms for him. Skirms, and we'll see if Viper can get another TC up. Maybe if he gets a TC, he could even the eco difference a bit. Viper abandoning that gold for his front gold, and it might have to be a front TC for him? Can he get a front TC up with all those skirms if he's simply going Cav Archers? Hera going Knight Skirm. And Viper... This is open between the blacksmith and the house. I know that the graphics overflow the blacksmith. That is open. And with the Chinese TC, Viper will have a hard time sneaking into the back of the eco, and without ballistics, will also have a hard time sniping vills. And Hera, looking to wall it, does so with a house. Viper at least gets a vill kill. Look to get behind the wood line, but he is now off of gold entirely. He has a gold over here he still could take. But now has to find a way to get gold himself, and he does not have the elite skirm upgrade. Adding more Cav Archers. Chinese being Chinese again. And we'll really need to examine the Gajura eco. And is the Gajura eco really so crazy that it competes with the Chinese? Because that was a game where Viper had the Chinese, was not harassed at all, but Hera continued to keep pace with eco. And now Viper running into some skirms. And Viper's back to the back gold again. Maybe he could think to wall that up. And this could not be a good fight for him at the front. There's no way he wins that fight. And I think this is GG for Hera now. I think he has a huge lead. 20 military to 2. And that was a close game with the men-at-arms. But now Hera will be on match point. But he will have used his Chinese again. And you see the huge swing in winning with the Chinese versus losing with the Chinese. As we'll get a workshop on the way for Viper. And there it is. Hera goes up 4-3. Almost worked out with men-at-arms for Viper as the Japanese. Not quite, though. A risk for Hera not opening men-at-arms to fight himself. And almost lost the house. Need an extra TC and upgrades up to handcart. And that'll bring us to game 8 with Hera having a 4-3 lead. His Chinese won. Viper didn't use a top civ though, so Viper still has Wei and Georgians. Hera has Vietnamese and one other civ, so maybe Viper with the better civs remaining. What I feel is the Vietnamese are I'd probably still favor the Vietnamese over all remaining civs. Maybe the Wei are better. But Viper certainly can beat Vietnamese with Wei or Georgians, and then should be favored in the final match. Let's get this ad out of the way. And next game in the lobby. Viper Hera. So now where we talked about the start of the set, where players have maybe a hard time figuring out what civs their opponents are going to start with, and it's a bit random. Now you start picking the matchups. And you know one of the last 2 games, Hera is going to pick Vietnamese. And if you're Viper, you're probably using Wei and Georgians. Which order is not clear to me. And which you prefer against the Vietnamese, I would think the Wei, but I'm not sure. Franks might be good now? I don't think the Franks have the eco to compete with the Wei, and certainly not late game with the Georgians, maybe early on. Georgians are CA for Viper. Burmese could be Arambai. I'm hoping we get a game 9, Arambai Bohemians dueling Phosphoros, but I don't think we'll get there since Viper has 2 good civs left. No Phosphoro civs. Bohemians, Burmese, Phosphoro civs. Arambai can be phosphoroed. And oh, now is the YouTube stream lagging a bit? Twitch looks okay to me, but maybe YouTube is lagging. Looks okay on my end. If anyone else on YouTube is having lag, let me know. And so far it's only one person complaining, so hopefully it's not bad. Phosphoro hasn't failed yet. It did fail yesterday. Yeah, Twitch looks fine to me. OBS is telling me Twitch is fine. Had a bit, but wasn't bad. All right. Yeah, I have. As I said, I don't have fiber internet here, and my weather the past few weeks has been quite bad. But the past yesterday and today have been pretty good for my internet stability. It's only 5 seconds. Okay, if it's only 5 seconds, that is acceptable. That's bad both for gut health and upload speeds. I have fiber in my diet, but not in my internet. And to be honest, I would gladly trade one for the other. Fiber's really healthy, though. That's what I learned when I took a nutrition course in college, because I need to fulfill some distribution requirement. Did you know that there is a tech at the TC that costs 1,800 that completely changes the game for whoever gets it? You mean Imperial Age, the one we haven't seen yet? All right, we're launching, and okay, here are the civs. Vietnamese for Hera and Wei for the Viper. And if Viper can find a way to win this game, he still has Georgians available for game number 9. Viper will show us the way. So what are the chances? Do you think there's a way Viper still can win this set? Can he win two in a row? And Georgians next for Viper, and what do we do for Hera against Georgians? Phosphoro, maybe. But fortified churches should probably defend against the Phosphoro. Maybe Viper overthinks and then tries to go Italians versus Franks, but then faces Hussite wagons. Yeah, what are the odds right now? What are the odds right now? Who's been looking at the odds for us? Odds say 88.5% for Hera. All right, and if Viper wins this, then what do the odds say? Viper might be saving the Burmese Phosphoro for last. You're already Spanish Phosphoro, though. So he's done one Phosphoro. Alright, so Hera, as the blue Vietnamese to the west, will have some duplicate rugs. Viper, as the yellow Wei, will have 5 different rugs. He will have a very forward gold. All 4 of his golds are forward. His barriers are somewhat forward. His stone is to the back, though. His stone is to the back. And Hera will immediately send the scout forward and find the boar. If he tries to lame, Viper will see him, though, and he misses the boar. Misses the boar by a tile. The boar, I think, might still wander into his line of sight. And Viper immediately goes to take it. However, Viper did not pick up the goats he has on the right side of his base. He will see them disappear in the fog, though, if Hera picks them up. But Hera didn't pick them up. He missed the goats by a tile. What is this doubt-like scouting? He missed the goats. And as he's wandering around Viper's base, Viper will not be lamed so far. Viper, you're against the Vietnamese. Why are you leaving your goats exposed? He's pushing an ibex. At home, Hera's still scouting. He's not being lamed himself, finding his second boar. That's a goat he's taking under the TC. Hera will finally find a goat. No, he won't. Will he find these 2 goats? No, he won't. Off by a tile. Hera. Okay, he's doubling back. Okay, he finds them. He finds them. He's done some laming. He's done some laming. But 2 goats, Viper pushing in an ibex. I don't think 2 goats will be that big of a concern for him. And we're at about 40,000 viewers. This goes game 9, we'll probably surpass that. $17 on YouTube. I wonder who all is streaming on YouTube. I know Mem's streaming on YouTube. Obviously I am. Maybe Lewis is. But then I think the Spanish community, Mario, probably is streaming there. You're watching a meme your wife sent? Then you should watch out. Maybe she lamed you while you were distracted. But Hera here, in a scout fight, Viper has the lead, I think. Hera committing. Wait, Hera loses the scout, and he will get 2 goats back. Hera lamed Viper. Hera lamed Viper. But, ooh, Viper could grab a goat, actually. Hera didn't pick up all of his goats yet. Hera didn't scout his base. Hera might not see his second boar. He has to send a Vil to pick up his goats. All of a sudden, Hera's scouting for his boar with his Vil. He doesn't see his boar. He lost his scout and he doesn't see his boar. That I don't think is worth the lame. Been very cavalier with his scout this set. Well, he still has Burgundians left, too. So he will pick up his goats and get extra goats, but that will slow down his uptiming if he doesn't get the boar under the TC. Right now he's taking that goat, so no way he's pulling off an 18 pop-up with the Vietnamese, and he gave up scouting with the Vil. He'll come over and find the boar finally. Will he? No, he won't. The sheep's going the wrong way around the gold. And he misses it by a tile. Hera is playing like doubt this game, and now it's such a small area he might not think to go and scout it. He will have to rely on the boar randomly walking into his line of sight. And Vietnamese, you can get some insane laming on the early game with them. You can also backfire. And finally, he will walk back and scout the boar. That boar has not walked for a while. Now he sees it. But 6 minutes into the game, he's just finding his boar. And Viper, who pushed a gazelle early on to make up for the lame, he has both of his boar, right? He had both of his boar. I think he's good with boar. And still is scouting with a goat, knowing that he killed the scout early on, keeping his scout forward. Doing loom, and he will go up on 19 pop. Hera adding in 2 more Vils. He's not ready to go up. He'll need to collect that boar. And this is already an awful start to the game for him, despite the fact he grabbed 2 goats. Back in the AOC days, when you did 22 pop feudals, he'd be fine now. He'd be fine to use that boar and click up. He's going to be 20 pop with loom and without a scout. So 20 Vils, that's a 21 pop normal uptiming, so a Vil behind what you'd ever usually go for feudal. Level KOTD. So 22 pop Men-at-Arms? I remember when that was a build. Men-at-Arms are faster these days. I really need to practice modern builds sometime again. I played so many team games I haven't needed to do Arabia 1v1 builds in a while. I've been doing that flank build. Or the pocket scouts. Odds of reaching imp 17% and declining. Chat does not believe in imp this game. Can't believe there's a chance for a 9th game. A 9th game where Viper should have a civ advantage. And barracks forward for Viper. He's on his way up. Looks like it'll be a scouts opening from him. So he should have a decent food eco behind it. Still has a goat under his TC. Doubt's showing him some support. And he will likely do horse. I think this will be a horse collar for him. Let's see. Pushing in another Ibex. Yep, horse collar for him. Of course, as the way, wants to do the Vil as ASAP as he possibly can. And where is his stable? He's not doing, oh, there he is. Oh, don't stable while pushing, okay. He's good. I was gonna say, don't mess up your Ibex push with the stable. Moving over to the lumber camp, and we pay attention to when he does wheelbarrow or any mining upgrades, because those will give him extra Vils as well, but he will open up a 2 villager lead now as the way. And in all likelihood, you do your eco upgrades and open a 4 villager lead. Sometimes I think the 22 pop build works well for hideout where you want stronger eco behind pseudo aggression, and it feels like most of the super fast builds are derivative of the team game flank builds. A lot of the fast builds I think have simply incorporated skipping the mill, which is the team game flank does. I don't know how that scout just ungarrisoned from that stable and went this way, but it did. Maybe Viper looking to scout before he looks to pressure. Oh, look at that. Viper is scouting the corner of his map, valuing scouting and pushing in another. Is he going to do a double Ibex push? Okay, that Ibex out there. He is valuing his eco and booming. And this is how Vinch beat Leary with the way, booming with them. That was the same civ matchup, way Vietnamese. It's not like the Vietnamese have a bad eco. Hera opening with a stable himself, but Viper with another Ibex push getting super greedy. As Hera comes forward, Viper does not yet have a spear himself, just adding one in now, and he'll get that Ibex. Oh, and he's pushing. What is going on here? What is this traffic jam? Where is the Ibex going? He needs to shoot the Ibex with the Vil. Viper, shoot the Ibex. Shoot the Ibex, Viper. What is going on there? Well, the Ibex can't leave now. The Ibex will be funneled to the mill. Viper is fighting the scout with his villagers and the spear, and he wins with the villagers. He doesn't lose anything. That is perfect for him. Oh, he's going to take the Ibex with this villager that's down here and send another Vil. Oh, he should have just waited for it to walk back. It would have walked back past the mill. But he's not in tune with funneling right now. He's trying to win the game. And now he's up 3-0 in the KD against Hera. Hera tried to fight Vils with a scout and a spear, got trapped by the berries. And Viper now looking to force game number 9. He had no time to wait for that Ibex. And Viper in the Alcatraz quick wall, and Hera might need to go play his Alcatraz scenarios. This finals, I think the Garrison finals with Hera Leary was pretty darn good. Well, it's been a while, and he's finally getting pushed. Viper at least making up for that 5-0 loss he had against Hera years ago. He needs to make sure his gate is locked and he doesn't let the scouts in. Viper, lock your gate. Lock your gate, Viper. Viper, lock your gate. Viper. Okay, it's locked. I think I need to click it in Capture Age for it to change status. Okay, repair your gate now, Viper. Don't let the scouts in. Viper. Okay, he's okay. He'll be hoovering with his own scouts, but Hera has a few spears in defense, so he shouldn't be taking much damage here, and he's fairly well walled. Unless he potentially has an overchop on his wood line that he misses. But there is Wheelbarrow for Viper. He'll be taking an extra villager lead there. And I still can do the gold upgrade as he adds in a mining camp. Yeah, the potential reward is big. When he uses all that time on the quick walls, he's still taking that Ibex. Res collected are still neck and neck, but the Way should pull ahead in eco with all the extra vills that they have, especially once they get to the Castle Age and get even more vills. So Hera feels like he is behind in this game a good bit. Viper not finding any weak vills to snipe, and those scouts will have to get away, but Viper's getting ready to go up. Pretty close to going up, and I imagine he does the gold upgrade on his way up no matter what. So that'll be a 4th Vill for him, and he has Wheelbarrow. The Vietnamese will be able to catch up a bit with their faster Wheelbarrow that researches more quickly. But still a Vill lead for Viper. The question for Viper is, does he even do the stone mining upgrade on his way up if he's not mining stone for an extra Vill? 100 food, 50 wood for that, if I recall the price. That shows me the second upgrade, only shows me shaft mining. And scout fight, not a good fight for Viper. He's downhill. He was trying to click up to the Castle Age and took a couple extra hits there. Now Hera has an advantage. Unless Viper gets a hill, he might need a spear. Has another scout on the way. And Viper needs to pull off his transition. There's a spear, and he'll try to fight with the presence of the spear. Hera sending his spear forward too. They're both a bit low on HP. Viper with 1 more HP on his spear. Imp chance is 22%. Do we have a calculator for imp chances? Viper adding in another light cav. There is Bloodline, so opting for Bloodlines, and still looking for the gold upgrade for him. And yeah, there he goes, gold upgrade for an extra Vill. And with the scout, Viper can take this fight. Is he patrolling in? No, he falls back. He's up, and he wants to wait for Bloodlines for the fight. So Hera investing into double ranges. Double ranges for him. Vietnamese will have more HP for their archers. What can the Way do? Can the Way get to Tiger Cav? Can the Way go Shenbei Raiders? The Vietnamese can maybe go Skirms against Shenbei Raiders. It will be 3 ranges for Hera. Maybe this will be Cav Archer's Skirm in the long run for him. There's Fletching on the way for Viper. And where are Viper's ranges? Yeah, and Viper will go triple range Shenbei Raiders. And what does Hera do against that? Is Skirm a play against that? Full Skirm? Crossbow for the Vietnamese? Vietnamese Cav Archers with extra HP? I'm not sure how that goes. I would probably still favor the Shenbei Raiders. Now we look at Hera's map. His gold is exposed. His back gold is far away, but he could wall if he moves out there. An immediate light cav from Viper. Not investing into blacksmith upgrades for them, though. Going for Bodkin and going for the Shenbei Raiders. You think the skirms would be a bad idea. And Hera will try to wall up. And Viper not canceling the light cav. Could have maybe gone husband. Oh, can he get through the house? Can he get through the house? No, Hera aware he walls just in time. Just in time. And light cav come in, so Hera won't be able to fight with his scouts there. Viper could patrol into that fight. And now the Shinbei Raiders will come straight to the gold where Hera's archers out here. What is Hera doing from his range is nothing. He was waiting for cav archers. That'll give Viper a great timing advantage. And the Shinbei Raiders not quite picking off a Vil right away. Hera will go straight for a University. And now Viper has to choose. What does he do? University, Workshop, or TCs? Might even be tempted just to fight the archers there. Hera taking some idle time as Viper does Bowsaw and more eco upgrades. He'll take a bigger Vil lead. With the way, maybe he could afford the ballistics with the extra Vils he'll have and delay TCs, and simply take the Vil lead through the eco upgrades. Scouts coming over. Viper still trying to push with the light cav and get in. Not getting in, forcing Hera to wall though. And Hera losing some archers, losing his feudal army. Hera extra HP on the cav archers. He's going to lose that fight. No, he dodges everything, Husbandry on the way for him. And he's going heavily onto that gold. Viper can come back and hit more Vils. Viper has ballistics on the way. He has armor on the way. And he's looking to go full army here. Hera wants to take a fight with his scouts from the rear. But Viper has more Shinbei Raiders on the way. I think those scouts go down right away. Viper doing armor. He wants to delay until ballistics. Hera has the armor right now. If he gets ballistics first, he probably wins and takes a great fight. Hera continues pumping. If Hera ever loses this gold, it's GG. Viper continues raiding over here. Will he get in? Hera has to keep reacting to quick walls. At some point, Viper could maybe bring his scouts over and try to hit the gold. Come in this way and go for the gold. Viper keeping the pressure up, and this comes now down to a micro dance. Which unit is better? And behind this, Viper's eco will be pulling ahead. You see he's up by a few hundred res collected now, but still with a Vil lead. And dodging ballistics, dodging the shots matters, but Hera trying to fight without ballistics now. Viper maybe not with a big numbers advantage. I don't know what unit wins this. Armor now for Viper, both armors. Hera doing both armors and doing ballistics now. Viper still trying to break in over here. Some of the scouts not fighting. If he can keep army advantage, though, I don't know which of these units wins. Feels like Viper has more numbers coming from behind, but then so does Hera. Hera's playing completely defensively now, though. And every time he has to move a Vil to wall or anything, Viper takes an advantage. And Viper has a hill here if he can get through the palisade. Those things are trash against the palisade, apparently. Viper is more on the way. He's got 14 to 11, but he still has all those light cav. And now he can hoover around and hit both wood lines. There go the light cav. Not going to dive. I mean, he doesn't need to dive with the light cav. At some point, he could run around this side. Oh, and now he has a Huiguang cav. A Huiguang cav helping out against the cav archers. Viper is doing it. Viper will clean the cav archers. Viper will clean this. There go the light cav. And is this the GG moment? Light cav chasing. And Hera has to throw up a panic tower. He has to throw up a tower. Viper going for more Vils. Behind this, Viper does not himself have a tower, but there it is. We have game number 9, and Viper still has the Georgians tied 4-4. 26 to 12 KD. Hera lamed himself with the lame. Lost his scout, didn't find his boar, and everything went Viper's way that game. And he finds his way into game number 9. There we go, 4-4. Away over the Vietnamese. And Civ advantage, Georgians over Burgundians, Franks, or Bohemians. What does Hera do here? Will Viper make the ACCM mistake and save Georgians for game number 10? I don't think so. Alright, let me do a quick ad between the games. You're in the lobby. And let's go game 9. I also just run to the bathroom so I don't miss the game. Okay, we're good. We're good. That does sound good. Flatch is here. Flatch is here. Flatch waking up in time. Or is at a disadvantage here? The last time we played a long series was 20. No, he played a best of 9 against Leary earlier this year at a LAN when he was sick. He can do this. Georgians, Italians, Burmese left for Viper. Burgundians, Franks, and Bohemians for Hera. I think it's got to be Georgians, Burgundians, right? Has been the most interesting tournament. That's what Arabia is. I don't know why we haven't had a KOTD in a while. We've for some reason done fire galleys and small ponds instead of Arabia, but we finally have Arabia. Alright, and we are launching. Chat, take a guess. Take a guess at what the civs are going to be. Take a guess. Franks versus Georgians guess. Maybe Italian for Viper, Arb, Fast Imp. Hera will be ruining that Lithuanian's loss against the Shu. He will be, at the same time, Viper, I think, ruining that Georgians, or that Chinese loss against the Gajurs. And G. Grady has it right, it is Burgundians, Georgians. Surprise Celts, big Celts are not drafted. Remember, yeah, good Arabia script, too. Good Arabia script. Egyptians theme, AOM. I don't think I used the Egyptians theme there. But I do have AOM music in there. I used the Greeks theme. I don't actually hear the music myself. That's probably the Greek theme. That's the start of the music track if it just wrapped around. Yeah, what are the odds? Tell us now. What are the odds? Does it take the civs into account? 66% for Hera in a single game? So 34% chance that Hera loses? It does not take the civs into account. I said, this might be it, chat. This might be it. They're visible after the draft. They are visible when picked. They have to be visible then because the opponent can't pick them afterwards. Burmese Bohemians double Phosphoro. That would be the dream. But it will be Viper playing as the yellow Georgians to the northwest against Hera as the blue Burgundians to the southeast. Neither of them have unique rugs. And Hera shot himself in the foot by attempting to lame last game. Not a successful game with the Vietnamese. Viper wins this, I think his Japanese pick sealed the deal. And think about that too. If Viper breaks through that house that got down to 13 HP with his Japanese arson men-at-arms, he probably wins that game too against the Chinese. And if he plays better in his Chinese Gajurs game, we're maybe looking at Viper winning. Right here, we've made it 4-4. Hera, I think 2 games with huge mistakes. Both that Vietnamese game and the earlier Lithuanians game. Anticipated Viper going FC War Chariots with the Shu. Tried to FC Lithuanians himself, but then Viper played a standard game. And Viper, will you lame? No, Viper missing a lame by a tile. Missing a lame by a tile again. Oh my gosh, are the sheep doing the thing they did in the past? Where they're one tile. Oh gosh, that was a bug in earlier KOTDs. And I need to pay attention to that in my own maps. I think when I make groups of sheep, I need to make sure that they are at least one tile apart. I need to place an actor area, place a sheep in that actor area, and then another sheep there that avoids it by a tile. That has to be... Oh, there we go. Now we have a lame. Lame for Viper. And when he runs his scout back, he might run back and find 2 more goats. Or pushing his ibexes and not finding his goats. And not realizing he's being lamed. So immediately Hera is lamed. Viper didn't go to take the boar. And Viper, you are so close. Viper, you're so close. You are so close. He missed it again. Some doubt-like scouting from Viper. Viper casually now luring in his boar. That'll be his second boar. Under his TC, he has 3 sheep coming back, and 2 sheep he has scouted with his sheep, so he will be fine to push it in Ibex, grab the sheep, and push it in another Ibex. Ooh, better Dark Age for Viper so far. Better Dark Age for Viper. As the TC takes the boar. Another house there for Viper. Her lamed lost. Laming can backfire. The 3-vil start in the laming has made this tournament much more interesting, I think. I don't really mind the 9-vil start, but I think I still do prefer the 3-vil start as long as we don't have hybrid maps game after game. And these parts we approve of maths education. Maths with an S. What is that? Word math doesn't have an S at the end. That's true. Louis picked Burgundians and lost trying to go with the button. Sheep exploration score can be very intimidating, yes. Look at that scouting from Viper compared to scouting from Hera. Hera has no vision. The score will even up quickly. But Hera down 2 goats again. And actually down 4 goats because he didn't find his goats either. He'll make a loop around and grab them eventually. And he still has goats under his TC, so it'll probably be fine, but yeah, the scouting adds up. If he decides to go forward and scout Viper, assuming he's lamed, then he misses them. And is that what he's doing? It's what he's doing. He's going to scout Viper. He's missing the goats. And if he does try to come back and find them, he has a big wood line to go around before he gets back. So that'll be a while before he finds them still. He's closer to Viper than he is to himself, and he's still looking for his goats. Players maybe got too accustomed to the very close goats on DE's Arabia. Closer and easier to find, and he will find them finally, but 7 minutes into the game. And will he run out of food under the TC? Just about. He will have them just in the nick of time. Viper up faster, 18 pop up, 19 pop for Hera. We will have Loom. Oh, he is running out of food slightly. There he goes, going for the barracks. 18 pop for Hera. Or 18 pop for Viper, 19 pop for Hera. Loom for both. And Viper grabbing his goats. Still more Ibexes. Oh, Viper's TC so much nicer now. And he's Georgians. He has the mule cart. He has the barracks. So far, looks like it might just be a scouts opening. Blake barracks for Hera too, so probably scouts from both. Hera does at least have double bit axe. So he is ahead in res collected, and he will try to wall in front of his gold. But that is a close wall to his gold. Maps for Hera back gold. Viper forward gold. Stable out by the gold in the wood line. He will also have a back gold that is somewhat wallable, but the walls are pretty far from his TC. Would need a lot of map control to get that fully walled. And so far, game's been going well for Viper. Good score lead, forward with his scout. I hope he doesn't waste HP trying to attack a Vil. And he doesn't. And range for Hera. Range for Hera. So it will be scouts for Viper, range for Hera. And remember, the Georgian scouts will heal. And Viper can see if Hera goes for skirms or for archers, and then react accordingly. Historic moment if Viper wins. He needs to go and scout the range, which he will. And there he goes, sees the range. He sees the range, and if he realizes how Hera's walling the gold, he'll see that it's archers. Hera not adding anything, though, yet. Famous words before a master pizza into GG. And Hera not adding anything from the range. No archers, no anything. Now, Burgundians probably don't want to go cav archers, right? That's not a play. Viper adding his own range after a farm, but the lame means he still has goats. He can delay the farms and go for the early range, and it won't hurt his eco. And he's almost killed Hera's scout. He'll leave one scout chasing that 10 HP scout. Needs a couple more hits, maybe 3 more with hills. At least 2 more. Oh, he could head it off at the pass. Oh, wait, could he head it off with these scouts and kill it? Ooh, that was close. That was close. Still chasing. He will run to a spear, and Viper needs to see the spear and get away, which he does, He'll come back. There will be archers in the range for Hera. Archers for Hera. And now Viper's decision, does he go archers or skirms? He goes for a mixture. And he needs to be extra careful that nothing ever sneaks around this side and hits his wood line if he otherwise has an army lead. Because he is forward with a military lead and a Vil lead. Down a bit in eco to the Burgundians' eco upgrades. Neither player with horse collar. Hera just opting for bowsaw. And Hera going for a blacksmith now. And not a full bait, He is adding archers. 5 Vils on gold, quite a few for Burgundians too. Wonder how quickly he'll try to get up. Well, look at the lack of ability to wall his base. He is adding in walls. Now, this area being unwalled is scary for me. He needs to be extremely locked in with his scouting and making sure he doesn't take any mishaps to spears or anything. He needs to run from the house, run from the house, run from the house. There he goes, fletching on the way for Hera. Viper has a pond here, looking to see a dock. I'd love to see that from him. YOLO the dock. Adding in archers of his own. More military still. And will, whenever the fight comes, have the scouts remaining alive. Hera's still splitting up, trying to keep this scout away. And will Viper get the scout? Nilly, how does he not get the scout there? I think Hera got a poke. And Viper's eco, pulling ahead in food. Hera's still ahead as the Burgundians, but he is trapped with one woodline, and if he goes to the castle age, he needs to break out and secure more of his base. He's really good at managing that, but his other 2 golds forward, TC spot here or here by the gold or the stone on that woodline, and on this woodline by stone and wood. Clutching for Viper, and the one thing I'd be worried about for Viper is he moves forward and leaves this area open, but looks like he's content to fight. Hera will jump out of the range, get 1 volley of arrows on the scouts. Not hit anything though. Viper there doing armor, and he's looking to fight. Wheelbarrow on the way for Hera. This is where the Burgundians can start pulling ahead in their economy. And Burgundians are still a decent civ. The late game with hand cannons, I think, can be pretty scary. Viper looking to break through. Hera has to bring his army back. Hera's scouting sees Viper is still open. The value of that 5 HP scout staying alive. And Hera will come over and see Viper pulls back. Wheelbarrow for Hera. Starting to pull ahead. And, ooh, doesn't lose a Vil there, but close. Viper's still trying to get in. Hera has to wall behind this. Viper with a skirm, so he actually still is threatening against that army. A couple of spears there, so Viper not going to YOLO through the TC and fight. Both players about to go up. Does Viper have a market on the way? He does. He'll buy himself up. And still a bit worried about how trapped Hera is in this base. Could Viper come forward with fortified churches now if he goes up? He's selling stone to go up. And well, let's say this. They play an even game, go up around the same time. There's Viper clicking now. Hera needs a tiny bit more gold. Hera, he has a sec. Oh, Hera doesn't realize he has a blacksmith. He's doing a second blacksmith. Double blacksmith for Hera. He deletes it, and now he'll go up after the Vil. He couldn't click up because he didn't have the gold. He thought he needed a second building. And he double blacksmithed. Best player in the world, double blacksmith. Viper keeps coming forward. And now the question is, where are the Vils? 2 ranges for Viper. It looks like he wants to go cav archers. And if Hera has walled himself like this, Viper just needs 600 wood. 1 church here, 1 church here, and then 1 somewhere out here maybe. And he suffocates Hera. Georgian churches can be repaired forever against mangonels. Double plebsmith. Hasn't faced serious competition since Viper lost his form. I wouldn't say that. I think Leary certainly is giving him some competitive sets. Yeah, I mean, he has certainly lost to Yo and Medieval Masters too. Now, let's not discredit everyone else. But I think a lot of people forget about all the challenges Viper faced throughout his years. Ever since probably 2012 when he lost that Arabia set to Tim, he had faced Jordan, Yo, Riot, Leary, and then later on Hera. So Viper coming forward, and that will mean Hera, who is looking to go forward with his archers, will have to turn. And Viper picks off a Vil here. Gets a Vil, gets some more HP down. And Viper has one skirm. Will Viper see the archers coming around? He should with that skirm. He sees them, he needs to pull back. He will be up to the castle age, and it'll be bodkin for him. And he has one tile on the edge of the map he can run. And Viper doing crossbow bodkin. Running to the hill, has to wait 20 seconds for the fight. And what is Hera gonna do? Hera has stone for a tower. And fortified church going up in Viper's eco, being very safe right now. Is Viper going to do this? Is he going to do this? Pushing through the wall. He's done what the Georgians want to do, gotten to the fortified church part of the game where they have their eco bonus. And I think they should have the better eco. And the Burgundians are going to do his crossbow bodkin himself. Viper applying pressure in the meanwhile. And looking to get Vils. He won't get one. Hera, nice micro. Couple of skirms mixed in, but I think Viper might need to get out. Ballistics on the way for Viper. If Viper can hold this and pick Vils, that could be great for him, but he's going to find a way to get out. And he managed to add ballistics behind this while Hera adds a TC. TCs could be victims of fortified churches, though. And Viper didn't quite have that army in the right spot to hit the TC, but when ballistics comes in, he can maybe hit Vils. He'll be patrolling forward over there. Hera has to split his army up and run away. He's investing into armor. Viper staying 1 TC. This is where Hera can pull ahead. If he's multiple TCs and you're 1. But also harder to do that against the Georgians, who have the churches buffing their eco. And Hera ready to get a 3rd TC out. Hera still struggling to contain his gold, maybe? Viper going for cav archers now, bringing his own crossbows back. And still, this area of the map exposed for Viper. His fortified church is somewhat in the rear. And does he have Town Watch? He doesn't have Town Watch. He's doing a TC, though, so he's doing a TC. Won't be falling too far behind. And Hera actually goes back. Hera goes back. Okay, Viper doing Bowsaw himself. Res collected neck and neck, but now with fortified churches. Has a slight Vil lead as he's adding the TC. He should have the better eco. I would love to see another church right here for Viper. And then maybe buy stone and do a TC. Yeah, where does his TC go? On his stone. And then a church out here by this wood line keeps him really safe. And that'll be 3 TCs for him while Hera's on 2. Hera doing elite skirm. And this will be... Viper will lose some units here. And Hera now with more army, 22 to 15. Neither civ really wants to stay archers for the long run. They both missed their final armor upgrade. Burgundians do have good hand cannoneers in the late game. The Halb hand cannoneer plus Cavalier is expensive, but very mobile. Viper will do a 4th TC. And now he can boom. Now he can do what Hera does, pulling ahead in eco while trying to micro. Hera does not have ballistics himself. Viper, I think he needs to rush that TC up with more Vils. Viper, don't doubt the TC. Should go up. Hera doesn't have ballistics, so it will be hard to pick Vils off. Couple of skirms on the way for Viper. Does Hera see that? He does. Town Watch on the way for him. 86% though. He might get a Vil or 2, but it should be fine. Oh, the Viper! Finish it! Finish it! Okay, there he goes. And now, diving the TC and the church. Oh my gosh, Hera, what are you doing? All the TCs. He's gonna lose all of his crossbows there. He's gonna lose everything. Hera, what are you doing? Feeling the pressure maybe to dive. Ballistics is in for Viper. He'll lose the crossbows before ballistics. That monk is dancing in celebration that he cleared the army. And a few skirms should defend Viper from the rest of this. Especially with ballistics. Hera may be thinking about microing against the crossbows on the other side. He wasn't expecting Viper to have all those TCs. He will clear army from Viper at the front now. Viper will take the best fight he can. And now more army for Hera overall, but he lost what he had in the back. Viper stand ground. Oh no, don't stand ground like that, Viper. There he goes, javelin that crossbow. And Hera adding in his 3rd TC. Well, what did Hera scout? He does see the 4 TCs from Viper. Viper still could use more churches. A lot of idle time for Viper with all those TCs. But now Hera will be sending skirm crossbow forward. He does still have a score lead. He does still have a Vil lead. But Viper picking up relics. He will have 3 relics and a 4th relic on his side of the map. Viper needs to be careful here. He's bringing over more skirms. There still are crossbows in that army for Hera, and Viper still has a bit of a hill. This is where Hera now needs to micro well. Viper doing what he can. I think Viper's winning this fight? He will have reinforcing skirms on the way, so he should eventually win this regardless of the micro. Has collected. Actually, Hera up by 1k. But I think the Georgians, if there's any civ that can make up for that, it's them. Viper, lots of idle TC time, though. Not queuing Vils fully. Maybe needs to buy some food, even. Does clear Hera's army, and now it's 8 to 6 military. And it's time for a forward castle? What? Viper, you have no military. Where are those Vils going? Is this just the middle of the map castle right here on one of Hera's golds? Is that what he's doing? Yeah, I'm genuinely not sure who has the eco advantage here. Viper maybe needs another church somewhere. What is this? Is he going to castle here? So 3 relics for him, stone mining for Hera. He's going to castle the middle of nowhere and hope Hera doesn't scout this. Okay, Viper. Playing some 4D chess here. With this castle. Hera will not suspect that. Until he sees it with the monk. Going for the relic. Viper, well, at least he sent enough Vils. He's got 12 Vils there. And I think that this goes up. He might lose another Vil or two. It's just skirms. So that goes up. Hera at least will know about it. Now that's now a 20 Vil lead for Hera. What is Viper doing? Viper, you could have done fortified churches in your eco and had an insane eco. Instead, he goes for some type of YOLO castle and a forward meal cart. He wants stone for another castle drop, but Hera will have his own castles, and Hera will be imp. And I think Hera's won this. He's up to imp now. He has such a huge eco. Game 9 and they're sleepy? Does Viper not realize Hera has more gold now? That was a weird castle, and Hera will have a great castle here. That'll secure an extra gold and secure the bottom part of the map with another golden stone for him. Oh, look at this wood line from Hera. Now look at that wood line. Plain black forest for him. Woods across the middle, and Manaspa's coming forward. Viper's gonna have to hope that the Georgians have a really good late game now. And we'll see that castle soon. But he is nowhere close to imp. Not at all. And he did not invest into his eco. He has the relic lead. He can kill some skirms with Manaspas, maybe. That's not going to do too much for him. So that is one doubt castle for him. He has an outpost up. Well, once Hera gets imp, he can't even keep going forward castles. I'm still thinking the play for Viper from the get-go would have been forward churches as he was up to castle. With that advantage he had. And yeah, not going to be able to do a castle there. Hera will defend that. Viper has stone for a castle. Or no, he doesn't. And Hera is okay. I think he needs a castle at home now. He has some churches everywhere, but only 2 churches. 10 Vils difference, but he is really far behind in eco. Burgundian's OP. And now some Castilier will come forward. I think Hera could have pushed forward. The downside to forward churches only would have been if the Vils and the army was sniped. And now Hera has monks. Monks. We all talk about skirms, but don't forget monks, the best unit in the game. Here he is imp, and I don't know what Viper does now. There's the GG, and Hera does it. That feels so painful for Viper there. What was that castle? What happened to the Georgian's eco when he had the churches? He cleared Hera's army, had 4 TCs, and somehow didn't have eco. What a strange game that was. He had the eco advantage early on, had all the early castle age pressure. Hera added a bit more army on the way up. Viper did a very defensive church instead of going forward. And Hera was able to come out and grab TC spots. Viper didn't deny that TC even when he had a scout and a couple crossbows there. And Hera everywhere. Probably would have lost, but would have been worth the attempt. Ah, that felt so weird. Yeah, the Burgundians have a good eco, but And it felt like Viper had the opportunity. He saw the gold was there. Behind those early crossbows, if he forces a church and forces Hera to react to that, Hera at least isn't adding the TC then. You can try to get a church on both sides. I mean, maybe the opening would have been stable opening for knights on the way up, and just a bit more pressure to get churches forward. Turn away for 5 minutes with Viper in a decent position, come back in GG. Viper did a doubt castle, and Hera had more eco and 1 imp. Oh, and thank you for using your Prime sub, Anaruda23. Thank you for the support. My Viper lost to himself. He did. I think the real key though was that Chinese Gajurs game, where Viper let Hera stay equal in eco and felt like he threw away many advantages. There is that game. There is that Japanese game where Viper breaks through the house and maybe he wins. And this one, it felt like he had leads too. Of course, that Lithuanians game was a blunder from Hera. But, this felt like he should have done it. He had momentum, he cleaned the army, he had eco, and somehow he still was behind in Vils. 17 minutes of idle TC time. And maybe adding in extra TCs with the Georgians when he should have added churches. And he should have used the churches to boost the farming, instead of investing into more food in villagers. Because adding a TC requires you to invest food. Adding churches doesn't. Churches are a one-time expense. TCs are a repeated food investment. And when if this TC were a church, not only does it go up faster before the crossbows come over, but it protects the wood line. It doesn't require him to keep adding in food. And he still has 3 TCs with churches. And then he has a 3 church eco on the TCs, can do a 4th one back here on the gold and boom safely. I don't know, I still think the play was more aggression with his position going to the castle age to get forward churches. I still think that was the way to go, like he did in that Malians game. This game, and at this point, I think it's over. At this point, I don't know, maybe Viper should have held on a bit more, but at this point, I think he's shot himself in the foot enough that it's over. Oh, almost. Almost had Viper winning. At least it was not another 5-0. But Hera will win that. And that was Burgundians over the Georgians. And Viper failing to win with the Chinese, I think, is what threw that set. Oh man, I was looking forward to a fortified church push, and didn't get it. Anyway, I think we'll go send a raid over to Memb there. He should probably have an interview. So we'll go raid Memb, and we'll be back more during the week. I got some TTL maps I'm finishing tonight. And we'll stream. Don't think there are any events going on, so maybe we'll find some show matches to host, or just do some casting or community games, or something. But anyway, we'll raid Memb both Twitch and YouTube. And again, shout out to him for hosting. I just set my redirect. And I will see you all later.